The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Standard Heating and Air is looking for an accounting administrator and customer service representatives to join their team. Learn more at standardheating.com/careers today.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93X.
The party known as summer is over. As of today, I think the pencils are sharpened, the taters have been totted, and school is back in session. So sorry, kids, mommy and daddy have had enough of you.
Remember you was little, you see your teacher out in public, you freak out. You like, Mr. Burner, what you doing out here with shorts on? Why you got your ankles out? What you doing? Oh, I'm just going to the beach. No, you live in school. I ain't never seen you outside. What you doing outside?
I was a loser in high school. It was my fault, though. Like, I realized it. I went to 3 different high schools. The first high school I went to, I was like, wow, everybody here is a asshole. And then I got to another high school, and I was like, wow, lightning strikes twice. And then I got to the third high school, and I was like, oh, it's me. I was like, it was me the whole time. I looked down, I had a rolling school bag. I was like, perhaps I had something to do with this.
It's showtime.
The Iron Maiden album, Power Slave, 40 years old today.
40. Lick me down, man. Just give me a good lick down when I hear that information. 40 years ago.
I kind of hate hearing these things. Oh, it's 40 years old this year, 40 years old this year. I'm feeling incredibly, because I mean, these are like, I remember when these came out. I'm starting to get to that phase of life. You know, if you said this 10, 15 years ago, it wouldn't have been as damning as it is right now.
40's a pretty big number, Cubby.
Yeah.
It really is, by damn. All right, you dirty bastards. I hope to hell everybody had a glorious Labor Day weekend. Welcome to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. She's a 4-day work week, and it couldn't have happened to a nicer group of people. That's it. This year's edition of the Minnesota State Fair is effing done and over with. Next stop, winter. Mm-hmm. Next stop, the snow and the ice and the misery. We'd like to say thank you to the folks who stopped by our little State Fair booth to say hello to us last Friday morning. By damn, you were a friendly bunch, and a lot of you spent money on us, which is really what it's all about.
I spent a good amount of money buying some 93X gear. I believe everyone in my family has purchased a Wapple T-shirt from the Minnesota State Fair.
As they should.
Yep. Bought another one over the weekend. So now we have, of the 5 of us, we have 4. Okay, so 4 Wapple T-shirts.
You guys are going to go to dinner and I'll just wear the same T-shirt?
I don't think we'll ever wear them.
So you're going to frame it and put it up in the house as like a nice decoration.
I don't even know where mine is anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, I purchased mine on the first day we were out there.
Maybe
You
just
used it as a napkin at the fair.
Maybe just wear them to your funeral.
Oh, yeah, that works.
That's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Just everyone's in Wapple T-shirts for my funeral.
If he ends up dying young here, we'll wear him to your funeral.
God, I really hope you die before me now.
I kind of hope I die young now, too.
I want to go to your funeral with your shirt.
Just lay it on the casket.
And then they have an updated shirt with me in the casket.
Yeah, you're lying on your back. You got the pennies over your eyes, whatever.
Yep.
Oh, and we just drew a giant D on your face.
Right on the forehead.
There you go. She's all over. The fair's over. Boy, did I dong myself last Friday after that cute little meet and greet at the fair. As Josh would say, I, quote, boned myself. So I rode my little electro scooter over to the fair on Friday. Jumping in that mess of traffic on Como or whatever route you take to the state fair. I rode my little electro scooter and had a great time zigzagging in and out of traffic. Hell, I got there in no time.
Yeah, you got there quick.
Yep. Locked her up. Josh, you watched me more than once practice locking and unlocking that damn scooter before we left for the fair, right? I had it parked right next to you here in the studio. We were both practicing how to lock the damn thing because I had never locked it before. There's a built-in lock right into the scooter. You watch me practice
that's a cool feature.
Yeah.
We've got a scooter at home. We don't have that built-in lock.
It used to be a cool feature.
Oh, no. What happened?
So after I left Ollie's there noon on Friday, after our meet and greet, I went out to Como Avenue, Street, whatever the hell it is, Avenue, right? I went out to Como Avenue. I locked it up right by the walkover bridge. You know, the historic walkover bridge there. That's where I locked her up. And I said to myself, well, that's it. That's it for me. Got a 3-day weekend ahead of me. I'm going to zip my ass back to the radio station parking lot and go home. And I could not unlock.
Oh, no.
I don't know what I had done wrong.
You remember the code and everything?
Absolutely.
So it wasn't something like that?
Wasn't something about the code. It just, I must have hit a wrong. Again, this was the first time I had ever locked it, despite practicing it a few times.
Yeah, you dominated here in studio.
I did something wrong because I absolutely could not unlock the pig.
No.
I tried dozens and dozens of times, and it just wouldn't give way. So, tired as I was, pissed off at that point, I had to walk my carcass all the way across the fair again, get on the friggin' bus, take that back to the nearest park and ride to my neighborhood, and have my friggin' wife come pick my sad ass up and bring me home.
Dude, I would have picked you up.
No, you wouldn't have.
Yeah, well, of course I would.
I would have too.
No. I would never ask either one of you to do that because here's what would happen. You guys would get back here to the radio station, right? And it would take you an hour in traffic to get from the radio station to the entrance of the fair there on Como Avenue, right? You guys know how bad traffic was.
Oh, it was brutal.
So I wasn't going to make, trust me, the first thing I thought was, well, I wonder if any of the dickbags from work would come get me. There's no way I was going to ask either one of you to do that because you would have sat on Como for an hour or more trying to get to me.
Shoot, I
still would have done it.
Well, I know you would have done it, but there's no way I was going to make you do that. Not on a Friday when we got a 3-day weekend ahead of you.
I should have called you because I saw that your vehicle was still here when we got back, and so I thought, oh, he must have just kind of hung out afterwards. I assume maybe you met some folks.
No,
you changed your mind because I know you said you were leaving, and I thought he must have ran into somebody.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, for the third or fourth time, I don't know what the hell I did wrong, but I could not. So.
Yeah, what's the status of the scooter?
Oh, I'll get there. So, me and the friggin' wife were planning on going to the fair Sunday. We changed plans to go to the fair Friday. So I took that stupid bus. The friggin' wife picks me up, takes me home. I slept for 2 hours. We loaded right back up and went back to the fair, which was fine. We planned on going Sunday. We just changed our plans to Friday because I didn't really think that my scooter would make it through the entire weekend sitting right there on Como. Somebody would swipe the damn thing, which wouldn't have been the end of the world, whatever. So we go back to the fair Friday. I bring all kinds of criminal wire cutters and whatnot with me. We go back to the spot. I cut the sumbitch loose, and oh boy, it took all of my elbow grease to get through that steel wire. But I cut it off, cut the lock off, put it back in the car. We went and had a good time at the fair Friday. Saturday, first thing I did when I got out of the sack on Saturday, I completely disassembled that lock, and it does not exist anymore on that friggin' scooter. I took it completely off the bike and threw it into the garbage.
Did people see you doing this, or did they think, is that guy stealing that scooter?
Nobody cared.
Nobody cared?
No.
Nobody cared. That's even worse. It was this guy with these bolt cutters, and he's just breaking this thing. Oh, well, I got to go get Sweet Martha's.
Yeah. I mean, I think the fact that my friggin' innocent-looking wife was standing there watching me.
Yeah.
I think that pretty much.
It'd be different if it was
made it obvious that I wasn't stealing. I was trying to correct a problem.
Would have looked a lot worse if it had been like Wapple and I standing behind you.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, what a pain in the ass. But that's just how I operate. Somehow, there was some little bit of trickery that I had forgotten and couldn't get the pig unlocked.
Did she try? Did your wife try
No.
to unlock it?
No.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean?
Well, I was wondering if maybe she'd have better luck or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, had it been something digital or computery, I certainly would have given her a shot. But this was just an old school, kind of like your old gym locker where you roll the correct numbers into play. So, I mean, so F me, I have no idea what I did wrong between here and Como Avenue, but... And then I don't have any real heavy-duty cutting instruments at the house. I have a couple wire cutters and things like that. It took all of my friggin' strength to get through that sumbitch. And this is the first time I've heard someone say this. So I'm kind of squatting down with this set of wire cutters, trying to squeeze through that steel cable, right? Kind of in like a catcher's position, right? And it was very difficult. And I'm like that, putting that much strength into it or that much force into it. And the friggin' wife says this. I've never heard this said out loud before, but she goes, "Okay, take a break." And I said, "Shut up, I'm almost there." And she goes, "Oh God, you're in a heart attack position." And then I did take a break and I said, "What?" "Well, the way you're squatted down like that, that's a heart attack position." I said, "I don't know what you're talking about."
I've never heard of something like that.
Either. I guess that's a common... she might have made it up. But she hollered at me that I was in a heart attack position.
Snot Rocket Jesus, who we had the pleasure of hanging out with at the Fair Friday, she's texted in and said she can lock her scooter with an app on her phone.
Dude.
That's awesome. I don't have a lock built into mine, certainly not an app. That's cool.
Dude is right.
She let me try on her Pit Vipers. You know those sunglasses that are all the rage.
Oh, no.
Oh, I'd have to see what...
I took a picture for you guys.
The ones all the ball players are wearing?
Yeah, they're like super popular.
They're like Macho Man Randy Savage looking glasses.
Okay, yeah, the one all the baseball players are wearing.
But those look super cool. And Josh, you sunglasses? Uh-oh.
Yeah, I usually can't pull off sunglasses. There's only one pair that ever didn't look totally stupid. It just looked mostly stupid.
The adventure of Josh and his inability to look like a normal human being in sunglasses.
I'm the only person that doesn't look cool in everybody else looks cool in sunglasses.
See, here's the thing, is the picture you showed me of you wearing, what are they called again?
Pit Vipers.
You look cool in them, but like last year, you tried on the aviators, right?
Yep.
And at first glance, you looked really good in them. The second time you wore them, you looked like a moron.
Yeah, I don't know what you're right. It was weird.
I don't know why. Now,
is it like the angle? Like the angle you look at them at? Maybe it changed a little bit?
I don't know.
So now, again, looking at this picture of you wearing Pit Vipers, in that picture you do look cool. But I imagine, like the aviators, if you put them on in front of me right now, you'd look like a massive dork.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You just have no chance with the sunglasses.
I appreciate Snot Rocket Jesus. Thank you for letting me try those on.
Maybe just take the eyes out. You don't need the eyes.
Oh, speaking of eyes, I had my physical Friday. The doctor told me I have eye herpes and I shouldn't put on anybody's sunglasses. And if I do, they should put them back on.
How did you do with the physical? Did you pass?
I'm afraid to jinx myself because got a couple tests that were a little abnormal. But at the time, the doctor told me I have the vitals of a college athlete.
Whoa! That's awesome.
Yeah.
College athlete.
College athlete.
Hey, that's what no drinking and no smoking will do for a guy.
Yeah, because he asked me, hey, what kind of exercise you do? I'm like, well, barely. I do something every day, but nothing like I used to.
Yeah, you're not looking to make the Olympic team.
No, not at all. And he's like, it's working.
That's awesome.
Vitals of but like I said, then they sent some tests later, and there's a couple that I don't really know what any of them mean, but one was a little low, one was a little high.
Yeah, I mean, good for you. You passed. That brings up a story. My brother, my twin brother, still is obsessed with all this powerlifting. He goes to powerlifting not conversations. The word is competitions. He kind of thrives on that kind of a thing. A number of years ago, as you guys know, my dad checked out coming up on a year ago. My dad never did any exercising ever. smoked cigarettes, drank beer every day of his life. I don't know. So 15 years ago or so, my dad had to take a physical for something or another. Maybe it was more than 15 years ago. Maybe it was more like 20 years ago when he was still working. He had to take a physical. And the doctor asked my dad, after checking him out up and down, the doctor asked my dad, have you been working out? And my dad laughed right in his face. Well, hell no. Hell no. But my dad could not wait to pass that information on to my brother, and it pissed my brother off.
That's funny.
The old man says, hey, guess what the doctor asked me? Asked me if I'd been working out. And my brother was just pissed because here he actually does work out and probably has never gotten a compliment from a doctor. My dad spends all day long smoking cigarettes and eating bacon, and the doctor asked him if he worked out. Well, there you go. Cubby made it. Made it through the physical. Oh, wow.
Snot Rocket Jesus, if you don't mind, get back to me and let me know your thoughts if I looked okay in those or not. She never really said. Now that I think about it, if she didn't say, that probably means she didn't think they were that great.
Yeah, it's not a very good sign.
Now, Foundry Rat Jesus knows the heart attack position.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so he said the heart attack position is the motion your mom makes when you're driving 1 mile per hour over the speed limit. Also, the motion your dad makes when you grab the keys to his 1959 Chevy Corvette and joke about taking it for a spin.
So I'll be damned. We did end up having a decent time Friday afternoon and Friday evening out there at the fair, and
yeah, it was great.
Did you hang around for a while?
Friday I couldn't because I had to go to that
go get
deal.
your physical.
We did the previous Friday. We did.
Speaking of tests, physicals are kind of a test. Did I tell you guys that I recently had to take an eye test, and it was, boy, I'm struggling. I recently had to take an eye test to renew my driver's license. You guys ever gone through that?
Yeah, I just did.
Yeah,
in
I
March.
did too.
How'd you do on the eye? My eye test was really bad. I'm just a hair away from having to wear regular glasses behind the wheel. This is the first time this has ever happened to me. You know when you look inside the telescope there and you have to tell them what letters are in front of you?
Yeah.
The first set of letters, I could not make out a one of them.
No.
Did you just go for it, or did you let them know I can't really see?
I just read what I thought I was seeing. I mean, they were so squiggled and so poor that I just figured, well, I'll lie to a doctor, but I'm not going to lie to a, what do you call someone who works at a driver's, I'm going to be honest with that person.
A registrar or something like that?
Registrar. Yes,
yeah,
I'll go with that.
I can't remember what they're
So
called.
I even barked out some numbers. And the lady said, what are you reading right now? And I said, well, the first set of characters that you write, that's what I'm supposed. She said, yeah, do it again. And I said, I don't know, U571, the old
Batman
movie
symbol.
with Matthew McConaughey. And she
Bon
said,
Jovi, but yeah, go ahead.
she said, there aren't any numbers in there at all. I said, well, I'm doing my best.
You know, the guy that I did it in front of, he was just in such a bad mood, he wasn't even paying any attention. Now, it's possible he was so familiar with the letters, he was listening, but it didn't seem like he was paying any attention. Man, he was in a bad mood. He was just trying to get people through. The place was packed. So, I mean, I probably could have read every single one incorrectly, and I don't think he paid attention. But I do think I've started to get a problem because on my youngest orientation a couple weeks back for school, or maybe last week, the teacher had like a little quiz for the parents, and he puts it on the board up front. I couldn't read it. And I was telling my wife, like, is that really fuzzy? Or no, what's wrong with you? I couldn't read it at all.
Well, you know, Cubby, I mean, the bottom line is, so what? I might have to start wearing some glasses when I drive. That's obviously not the end of the world. And some of you have had eye problems since you were 1 year old. I mean, hell, I got a cousin who couldn't see dick from the time he came out the chute. He just had glasses on, even as a tiny baby. So it's not the end of the world, but it's just I was really surprised at how quickly my eyesight has deteriorated to where I've never had a problem with that eye test at the driver's license station. And suddenly that first row of words, letters, whatever they are, I could not make it out at all. But I guess I did well enough to where I'm not forced to wear glasses behind the wheel just yet. But I'm getting there. Cubby, I guess where I'm going with this is if you were seeing things a little funny at your kid's orientation, buckle up because it goes fast.
Well, my stepson's girlfriend, that's what she does, right? The eye test and stuff like that. So she keeps saying, you should come in and get figured out. I probably should.
Well, and then, Nick, you only got cheaters like 4 years ago, right, to help you read.
Something like that. I don't know how, maybe less than that, but anyway, yeah.
I just thought of that, too. So,
it goes fast.
It really does. Wow.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Your story there reminds me of when I got my motorcycle endorsement when I was 18. And the guy's like, well, wasn't pretty, but you passed.
I shouldn't be doing this, but I have to give you this.
That gives you a good confidence boost.
I know. He was like, I'm sure in his head he's thinking, well, this guy is going to be a messy stain on 494.
You got the Close Enough award.
Yeah, and he seemed frustrated. Like, I technically have to pass you. You probably shouldn't be on the road. But yeah, wasn't pretty, but you passed.
But I can hang my hat on this. I mean, I am by quite a few years the last member of my family to need eye care, if that's the proper term. My brother's eyesight has been garbage since he was a kid. My sister's worn glasses and this and that for many, many years. Both my parents. So I won that competition. But, oh, boy, it's going fast, Cubby. So school is back, huh? For real this time?
For everybody now.
For everybody.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's weird, but my son started last week. It never for us. But, the other thing is I went to Catholic school, and I know Catholic school's starting today, right? Most of them are. But
my sister's kid starts today.
Does she go to a Catholic school or private school?
No. Just a regular stupid school. Orono, they call it.
Oh, okay. I've heard of that.
What grade is my godson in now as of last week?
7th grade.
7th grade.
My oldest niece starts kindergarten today.
Your oldest niece?
Yep, she's 5.
7th grade. That's when we really, really, really started to F off.
Yeah, that's when things picked up.
I loved that time of my life.
That's when we started up with the cigarettes and the beer.
Marijuanas.
That was a little different for me. It was
some
hard
folks
rock
got
and
into
Sega Genesis.
Some folks got into the marijuana cigarette.
BMX biking. 6th grade is kind of when we started all that.
When do you suppose you're going to find beer on this kid?
I don't know. I don't think he can handle the beer. I don't think he can handle. He always jokes about it. He always wants to.
He wanted a beer helmet.
Yeah. He got one. My brother got him a beer helmet. And he was like, this might have been 4th grade. My brother asked him, what do you want for your birthday? And he's like, I want a beer helmet. I do think he's going to be, he reminds me of a Gronk. One of the Gronk brothers. He's kind of, I don't know where he gets this, but he's kind of like that. He's a big lug. He's probably going to be in a fraternity, but not enrolled in the school.
Just the guy that hangs out at the frat.
Yeah, and for far too long.
Yeah, he's the Van Wilder of the frat at some point.
Yeah, I think it was the summer before our 7th grade year. So, right where your son, more importantly, my godson, he's coming off the summer before his 7th grade year. That's when we really started to try to drink beer to get drunk. And I know that's terrible for some of you who are going, oh my God, that's so young. Well, sorry, it happened. But, of course, we would sip a few along the way. Our dads would give us beer, have a little drinky. But it was summer before 7th grade when we would get our hands on it and really try, like grown folks, to sit there and just drink it to get drunk. And I remember one trip up north where I had a Budweiser, and I think it was on. I was like halfway through my second Budweiser, and I started to feel it. And I thought, whoa, how grown up, how badass am I, right? I look to my right, and my twin brother is on like his 6th Budweiser, just guzzling it like he's 30 years old. It was just crazy to me.
Boy, did we have different experiences. I saw the one and only real porno I'd ever seen when I was in 7th grade, and that ruined me.
Didn't grab you, did it?
Yeah,
and only porno that you ever saw?
Yeah, I've seen, I've got buddies that have sent me stuff.
Well, sure.
But I've never sat down and on purpose, searched one porn to watch by yourself.
That was the only time.
Yeah, that's it. Like I said, I've seen it, right? people have sent me stuff or whatever, but I've never searched it. After that, I mean, it was so disturbing to me and it got me right at the correct time of life to ruin it. And, obviously the Catholic guilt. A lot of people can get past that. One of my best friends grew up very Catholic, and he is very, very into porn. He likes that kind of thing.
That's really interesting that it's the one and no. So,
but I can't imagine getting drunk. I hadn't even discovered myself yet, if you know what I'm saying, in 7th grade.
Well, to finish, you hadn't discovered your own body.
No.
So to finish off this beer drinking story was, like I said, I thought I was doing pretty well, being a Budweiser and a half deep or so. Maybe I'd had 2 and a half.
When was the first time you ever drank beer before that?
New Year's Eve, 1979.
So you were what, like 8?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that, you drank it. It wasn't like Dad gave you a sip. It was.
But to finish off the story about my brother, he was whooping everybody. He was whooping all of our asses, and I just thought, my damn! And it was foreshadowing, is what it was, because my brother was like a professional beer drinker when we were in high school. He could just, and then into our college years before he quit, and he needed to quit, and it was the best decision he's ever made in his life. Good for him. I'm very proud of the fact that he hasn't had a drink in 8 years or whatever, because he needed to quit. He was always just wipe out a case without even thinking about it. So there was foreshadowing. He's a 12-year-old kid, and he's had 6 of them. Later on that night, he did vomit all over the friggin' place. But anyway, what was the New Year's Eve 1979, yeah. My dad and his best buddy, the Dirty Beauty, New Year's Eve party. My dad and the Beauty sat me and my brother and the Beauty's son down and handed us Foster's Lager oil can. You know the ones I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. What were those back in the day? Those were like 60 ounces.
Were massive, they that big?
Whoa, a big giant. And they said, okay, the 3 of you boys, let's see if you can knock this sumbitch out. Right? We're 8 years old. And we didn't even come close. Because it tasted so bad. It really was so bad. We tried a little bit. We tried. But, yeah, that was the first time we sat down and popped the top. And of course, my dad and the Beauty are laughing their nuts off, because we were pretty smart-mouthed little kids. We thought we were pretty tough.
Yeah.
Well, they said, okay, let's see what you can do with this friggin' Foster's oil can. Oh, I couldn't believe when it hit my lips. The old line. What movie is that?
Old School.
When it hit my lips, I could not believe that grown folks willingly did this.
Yeah,
That's
I
how bad that.
Yep.
Now, I know Foster's is kind of rough for a friggin' beginner, but still, I think I said out loud, I said, you guys drink this? This is horrible.
Yeah, I felt that way about pretty much every alcohol, except I liked, what's that called? Jägermeister, and I know that's like one of those, you like it or hate it, but I'm a black licorice fan. So I liked Jägermeister enough. I didn't like anything else. I don't, like coffee was the same thing, and I still wonder, like, how do people drink this every day and enjoy it?
Oh, man.
A former coworker of ours she's like, well, you just don't know what to do with it. So she would bring in like different fancy coffees, and it never got better. No.
You guys know my buddy Wang, right?
Of course.
You guys like to hear Wang stories now and again, don't you?
Definitely.
I love Wang.
This wasn't even that long ago. This was like 6-8 months ago. Wang loves to reminisce about the old days, even more than I do. And Wang says to me, maybe you had to be there, but Wang says to me, and this is how Wang talks. Do you remember like 7th grade? And I said, 7th grade? Well, yeah. What about it? It was it was kind of weird, wasn't it? And I said, where are we going with this, Wang? What do you mean? What was weird about it? Well, it was, it was our first year of junior high, so, like there was this grade school group of kids and that grade school group of kids, and then all of us coming from different elementary schools, and we all suddenly were in the same school, and it was just kind of weird. And I said, you're damn right, Wang. It was.
He had a point.
Yeah.
Wang had a point.
And I appreciate you bringing it up. Oh, boy. 7th grade. Well, that's great. I'm happy for your son, Josh. He'll have a great time.
Oh, he's liking it so far.
Here's something that'll get our little Wappo effing psyched. Purple Pick'em has returned.
Oh, Purple Pick'em.
Purple Pick'em, Wappo.
Purple Pick'em.
We love this bit. Wappo loves this. Here's how you do it. Listen during the 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. hours for your keyword to text. So wait a minute. We're doing this week?
Yeah.
Oh, Christ, because the Vikings
started
play on
up.
Sunday.
Oh, I thought they had another week to go. For Christ's sake, the Vikings play on Sunday. Listen during the 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. hours for your keyword to text.
Let's bankrupt the company this year.
It's about time.
We've been rooting for this for years. It's just never going to happen.
Come on, somebody's got to do it.
It's never going to happen.
Bankrupt the company.
But it might happen. That's what makes it worthwhile. It friggin' might happen. And as Josh said, we can take a lot of money out from under this miserable, miserable company that we work for.
This is the time of year where we have to call it the big game.
Mm-hmm. The big game, the
switch
Minnesota
has
game, right?
Yep.
All that. We have to use all that, what's the word I'm looking for? Bland. There's a word I'm missing. All that neutral stuff. Listen during the 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. hours for your keyword to text. When you go ahead and do that, you'll be entered to guess the halftime and final score of the upcoming Minnesota game. If you get either score right, you win $1,000. Get both right, and you'll win $100,000 plus a trip to the championship game. Purple Pick'em is back. We got to take a break. We'll be right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Did you know that Standard Heating opened its doors over 90 years ago? That's right. Tony Ferreira opened the doors in 1930, now ran by his granddaughter Claire Ferreira. Call Standard Heating and Air Conditioning today and experience the customer service and care that holds true today.
Are you looking to improve your work-life balance with excellent benefits like 401k match and even tuition reimbursement? Standard Heating and Air is looking for an accounting administrator and customer service representatives to join their team. Learn more at standardheating.com/careers today.
The Bigger Pockets portfolio of podcasts are worthy of your investment.
What is the path of least resistance with highest ROI?
New episodes available every day.
People oftentimes are paying very close attention to what the Fed does to get signals on what's going to happen with mortgage rates, and it's completely wrong way thinking.
Whether it's real estate, on the market, rookie, or money.
And you could make just 6% on a deal. You can retire next month.
The Bigger Pockets podcasts are on YouTube or wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Oh, man, we got a hell of a crowd out there. We appreciate you listening. Josh, if you had to pick a favorite listener, who would it be?
My mother. She listens every day. She tunes in every single morning.
She does?
Yeah, sometimes she'll even comment on certain things.
She hears you tell all those filthy stories about your sexual escapades?
Well, I guess that's the price of admission. I know, I wish she didn't sometimes. Sometimes she will comment on stuff like that. You know, your father and I never did something like that.
Oh, no. My damn. Yes, they did.
No, they didn't.
They did?
She texted in and said they didn't, so I'm taking her for her word. Please, God, I hope they did it.
They did it, and they did it well. That's a pretty good favorite to pick, your mother. Did she ever make me those Rice Krispie bars, or is she just laying around being old?
I think it's the latter, but she did say...
wait a minute. No, it was a peanut brittle.
Peanut brittle and Rice Krispie bars.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said she's going to.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Here's a hell of a reason to choose arson. We're beginning today's Stupid News Report with arson. And I'll just go ahead with this because it's just so stupid. A 44-year-old gal in Greece of all places. She would have been better off choosing online dating, in my opinion, to satisfy her need to flirt with men. But instead, she chose arson. She ran around her hometown setting fires because, quote, she enjoyed watching firefighters and flirting with them.
They make calendars and do like autograph signings. I think that might be a little bit easier.
Oh, I heard those grease fires are bad.
You bastard.
That was dumb.
I'm telling you, gals in their 40s and 50s, they do stuff. They become the big, dumb sexual animals.
Yeah, don't they get super horny later in life, women?
We dudes own that label between the ages of 11 and 40. Ladies are the sex-crazed animals once they get into their 40s and 50s. Listen to what this gal did. She's burning buildings down to meet men and flirt with them. Now, this lady just received her punishment for lighting fires all over town so she could talk dirty to firemen. 3 years in prison. And a big-ass fine. Big pile of money. She intentionally and repeatedly set fires. 1 or 2 of them resulted in wildfires breaking out.
No.
So acreage turned to what's the end result of fire? Turn to there's
char?
Char. Fine, I'll go with that. Acres and acres of land burned beyond recognition because of the fires the fires she was setting. Jesus. Haven't you heard of masturbation?
You could hire a stripper in a fireman outfit or something like that. It's going to cost you less than these fines and certainly spending time in prison. Now, I don't know what it's like in a Greece prison, but can a corrections officer be a male, I wonder? I don't know, I'm asking you guys.
In a ladies' prison?
Yeah, just kind of asking out loud because maybe she's into just any guy in uniform.
Sure.
Yeah.
That might do something for her.
And she must be nuts, too, because the last couple fires she set, she showed up out of nowheres to jaw jack with the damn firemen, kind of like hanging out at the scene of the crime, and that's when the cops got suspicious of her. Big fire burning in town, just the firemen are there doing their job, and then she walks up. Oh, what happened? Just sitting home in front of the computer, rubbing one loose would have satisfied the urges for this lady, but no. Now, Randy Shaver recently retired from his gig as a television news anchor. And his retirement was nice and cute and all that. But I wish he would have gone out because of some kind of scandalous event or an on-air comment like this here lady did. If that's what you want to call it, scandalous. I wish Randy would have gone out in a blaze of glory somehow. That would have been great. So it says here, a Tokyo-based television news anchor lady, she was fired, and she took a pile of online backlash after she went over there to Japanese social media, so it wasn't something she said on air. This was a comment she made on Japanese social media. And she made some comments about men's hygiene habits. She more or less said that men stink like ass and they need to try and shower more often. She's a 29-year-old gal by the name of Yuri Kawaguchi. Cute as a damn button, she is. She wrote something along the lines of, the smell of men in the summer is so uncomfortable. And she told men to shower more frequently and use deodorants. She said, I want to be clean, so I take several showers a day. I use freshening wipes. I think men should try that.
That is a lot of work. Several showers a day. So that's about 3 at minimum. And then she's still wiping up everything, too.
Yeah, she must be gross.
That's a lot of showers in one day. I'll give you that. So her comments were perceived as discriminatory against men. You know what? F it. We deserve it. We're gross and we're stupid. I'm on her side.
Boy, I don't know that I'd feel discriminated against.
Yeah, I'm perfectly okay with that comment.
It's a pretty dramatic word, isn't it?
I also think that she should keep her job over something. I mean, think of all the terrible things you can say on social media.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. This is really weak.
Yeah, and she's not breaking new ground. Oh, guys might have body odor? Okay. We're aware.
She was labeled as a materialistic woman out of touch with the struggles of ordinary people. Struggles to stay clean. Whatever. You dunk yourself in a tub. You take a shower. Like I said, I'm with this lady. We men are big, disgusting pigs. And we reek like ass. She issued a public apology, removed the post, but people were already too pissed off. And the television station that she worked for chickened out under the pressure and candor, which you see over and over and over and over again now in the last 5-6 years. Television stations, radio stations, they don't want the heat. And they'd rather just get you out of the way.
Yeah, and sometimes it is pretty minor stuff.
Yeah. This gal also lost a couple of public speaking gigs that she had going for a little extra beer money on the side. I'm sure she was making some good money in Japanese television news reporting, but she also had a couple of side gigs, which were good for beer money. She lost those too. Now, there were some reasonable folks over there that thought her firing was too extreme of a move. But it's done, so what can you do? One individual over there posted, it just shows that Japan has been a male-dominated society for too long. No matter how dirty men are, as soon as a woman complains, they punish her.
Yeah, that's perplexing a bit. Hopefully the station realizes that was extreme.
Well, you think maybe there's a chance that they admit that and bring her back?
Absolutely not.
No. Not going to happen. I just hope she lands on her feet somewhere because, come on. What's the problem over there? You guys know anybody who, quote, and I love this bit, absolutely love it, fascinated by it. Do you know anybody who, quote, doesn't believe in deodorant?
Yeah.
I love this bit.
A whole family, actually.
Are these the people who use potatoes?
Yeah. Yep, they use potatoes.
Here we go.
Yeah, good memory. Yeah, whole family. One of my better friends I grew up with, I'd never heard of such a thing, and I thought he was joking. But no, they didn't use deodorant. They didn't believe in it. The mercury and say, whatever. Maybe there's something to it. I have no idea. I don't know what they put in it.
That's the verbiage that I enjoy so much. I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not like I'm going to war for deodorant myself. I just want to cover up the stink, that's all.
Yeah, and he didn't smell like hash browns or anything like that, but they would have potatoes, like HAL, and put it on under the armpits here, and that was that.
I didn't know this about one of my oldest pals. I did not know this about him until one afternoon we were doing one of those all-day drinking. This is when we were quite a bit younger. Drinking beer all day at a roadhouse, watching college basketball or something, so we were all in tough shape. But this buddy of mine, jumps onto the bar stool next to me, and it about knocked me onto the floor, the body odor roaring off of this dude. And again, we'd been drinking all day. Things are going to happen, but this dude was off the chart. And I literally said, oh, for Christ's sake, dude. You smell like garbage. And that's when he told me, well, I don't believe in deodorant.
Well, I believe you smell like ass.
Like in its existence?
Right. That's, again, the way that's stated, I'm drawn to that. And I said, well, for God's sake, do something, because I'm going to puke over here. It was just the purest body odor smell. You know that smell.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely in its purest form. Just punched me right in the friggin' schnoz.
That's one of the smells I cannot handle is body odor. Oh, I could, if I smell it, ooh.
You'd rather be standing over a fresh turd, wouldn't you, Wampa?
Yeah, I probably would.
And I told the dude, I said, well, then go into, if you don't believe in it, go into the men's room and put some soap and water under your friggin' arms because we got an entire half of basketball to watch here.
Was he cool with that? I mean, is soap fine?
I don't remember if he went along with that or not.
Because this family was just, I mean, they would use alternative soaps. I don't know. They would use soap, but it wasn't like something you wouldn't be buying Dial or something like that, right? It'd just be I can't remember the brand name. But they'd use that and then potatoes under the arms.
That shampoo's bad for the environment.
I don't know if that was it. It was more like you're putting chemicals on your body.
I love chemicals.
Me too.
I do. One of my favorite things in the entire world is chemicals.
Angry bus driver Jesus said, at my cash transit job, we had a customer at a gas station. They could smell from the parking lot while they're in their armored truck. That bad.
I'll tell you. I mean, there's all types out there. Go ahead. Put potatoes, onions, carrots, whatever you want under your arms to avoid the evil chemicals. Go ahead. But
if you had a friend that put potatoes, onions, and carrots under his arms, I'd like to call him Stu.
Yeah, I would too.
That'd be a great name.
That's a great
That'd be an excellent nickname. Beautiful name. Go ahead and do whatever you want to do, but... I absolutely lost the point that I was driving towards.
You can still believe in deodorant.
That's it. Yes, the believe part. Thank you, Josh. Find some different wording for that.
All right, this person says, hit me up if you need some chemicals, LOL. That's from Chemical Sales Jesus. Oh, wow. Hey, man, I drink your chemicals every day, and I appreciate you guys making them for us.
That dude's never going to go out of business, Chemical Sales Jesus. But whoever makes that drink that your wife likes, Josh, they're probably not going to sell a lot of that stuff.
Oh, it's so gross.
All right. We were saying something about a fresh turd a minute ago. Ordering a package off the stupid internet continues to be an adventure. In Pueblo, effing Colorado, a fellow named John Rossiter, and his friggin' wife by the name of I'm going to get this. I swear to God I will. Dude's name is John Rossiter. His wife's name is Sanathon. Oh, no, I was there.
Yeah, you had it.
Sanathony. John Rossiter and his wife, Sanathony. His first wife's name was Christineth.
Christineth, sure.
Yes, Christineth, and you'll get his wife's name right.
That's kind of one of those things where the person that jots down the name must have asked the mom in the middle of a sneeze. Doesn't that what that sound like?
Sanathony. Okay, I'll get past it. The two of them got a package on their front damn step the other day, and it was plumb full of soft, wet human feces. It's just a box full of stool. And they have no idea why the hell that happened or who it came from. Dude said, I didn't know what it was. I'd just gotten home from work. It was late at night, and I cut the package open, and I looked in there, and I couldn't tell what it was. So I reached in.
Oh, no.
And then I smelled it. And then it was on my hand. He said, there was poop in there.
Well, I didn't know what it was because it was kind of dark. I had just gotten home from work. It was late at night, and I couldn't tell what it was, and I reached in, and then I smelled it, and it was on my hand, and there was poop in there.
Oh, God.
That's what he sounds like. So I was just like, oh, my God, what is going on?
He was pretty calm for a guy who just got mailed a box of turds.
Now, the day before, he had received something or another that he ordered. The day before, he received some guitar tuners. Okay? That was a planned delivery. This box full of feces, he had no clue where it came from. He called Amazon, gave them the tracking number of the box full of poop, and the Amazon guy said, well, that's the same tracking number as the package full of guitar tuners. Same tracking number. It's kind of like a horror movie. The call is coming from inside the house. Dude said he frequently orders items from Amazon and has never had a problem. Neither he or the wife know who could have sent them lukewarm, wet turds. They don't know who and they don't know why. He says, I just hope they, referring to Amazon, I guess, figure out who did this and why. That's hilarious.
I think that would keep me up at night wondering who mailed me the turds.
Would it really? I have a couple of friends that I could pin it on pretty
narrow down pretty
and a couple of family members that I'd assume had something to do with it.
But if you didn't, I would expect that if I got a box full of human feces, within an hour or two, I'm going to get a phone call or a text message from a friend saying, gotcha. Let's say that never happens, right? That would F with me, too.
If that never happened?
Nobody comes clean about it within an hour or two, then I start to worry. At first, I'm going to laugh like you, Josh, and I'm going to assume this is a buddy playing a prank on me. But if no one says gotcha within the first couple of hours, then I am going to stare at the ceiling in the middle of the night and say, is someone coming into the house to kill me?
That would actually narrow it down for me, because I've got a friend that likes to pull pranks but never get any credit for it.
Okay.
That's part of his bit.
So if you get no gotcha moment,
I know exactly who it was.
All right.
And that could help me sleep at night. Even if it wasn't him, I would assume it was.
I love jokes, practical jokes. Go ahead, prank me up and down. I'm a gullible person. But a box full of wet human feces, that's not funny.
No.
Yeah, I don't find that funny either.
No. Here's another guy who just doesn't understand anything. He doesn't understand how the law works. From Pennsylvania, I believe. Dude has been accused of stealing a motor vehicle from a library parking lot and then driving it to his neighborhood police station to ask for his drugs back. Apparently, the dude had been arrested a few days prior, and the cops took his drugs away from him, and he wanted them back. And the cops said, wait a minute, what now? And then the dude left the cop shop and drove the stolen vehicle over to Target and tried to steal some things from Target. He goes by the name of Christopher Ganzel. He's 24 years old, and he's all done. There's some more of this and that connected to the story, but you got the gist. Like I said, he's just another derelict that doesn't understand anything and is better off in jail where he won't bother the rest of us who actually believe in right and wrong.
Most of us believe in right and wrong. Some of us don't believe in deodorant, though.
No.
Can I have my drugs back? He said.
How do you, honestly, is it the drugs that get you that dumb?
It has to be.
Yeah.
It just deteriorates your brain.
It's got to.
And the
you do a lot of
addiction.
drugs, which is why you had trouble saying deteriorate.
Yeah, well, I'm just stupid in general.
It could be the drugs, it could be, Josh, or it could be if you're dumb enough to do this kind of drug, you're probably dumb enough to go to the cops and ask for your drugs back while driving a stolen car. I don't know. 6 of one, half dozen of the other kind of a thing. Now, this guy here, he really hates his ex-wife. Or they call her here an estranged wife. Either way, he hates her guts. And he had a plan to get rid of her ass forever. From Singapore, believe it or not. My God, the stupid news, Josh, it reaches every corner of the globe.
Isn't that wonderful?
Singapore.
No one's left out.
This dude goes by the name of Tan.
The Tan Man.
Tan. He wanted his ex to get in deep trouble with the law. So he planted what they call here 11 packets of cannabis in her car, knowing it could get her the death penalty. They're pretty serious about cannabis over there in Singapore, apparently. Jeez. It says here the cannabis weighed over 500 grams, whatever that means.
Could you give up weed, Waffle, if you knew you would be facing the death penalty?
Yeah, I probably would. I'd probably quit.
500 grams. That was enough, or that is enough in Singapore, according to the story, to be sentenced to death if you have that in your possession.
Waffle's 500 grams a lot?
It's about a pound, isn't it?
I have no idea.
Sounds like a lot.
Let's look that up. If it was enough for the death penalty, I hope it's more than a pound of marijuana.
I think it's just, it's just over a pound.
A little bit over a pound, I think.
That is not a lot of weed at all.
Well, then they are quite serious about this in Singapore. So, this dude, Tan, after he got busted for this, he said he thought it was the perfect crime. He planned it for days, but now he's looking at 3 years in jail. He's 37 years old, Tan. He's been living with his folks ever since he split up with his ex-lady, so you can't blame him for cracking up. He's been living with his friggin' parents, and he's 37 years old. He got married to his then-wife in 2021, but their relationship turned to garbage. It was a pain in the ass trying to get a divorce. One of those deals where it was taking forever to make it official. He thought maybe she was cheating on him. He just straight up hated her. So eventually Tan came up with this huge pile of weed idea to get his ex-lady in trouble. Tan found a channel on Telegram. Does anyone know what that means?
No.
Doesn't matter. He found somebody that was selling drugs, and he asked the seller for a brick of cannabis, weed, whatever. They keep calling it cannabis in the story. I hope that's not too annoying. We're just talking about marijuana here. It cost him $2,000. So we're sure this is just a pound of marijuana, and he's spending $2,000? At any rate, he got a friend to help him pay for the dope. Once he got the grass and weighed it, and it was over 500 grams, he knew, I guess, that in Singapore, his wife would get the death penalty if she was convicted of trafficking more than 500 grams. This story goes on for friggin' ever. I hope you're not throwing yourself off a bridge yet. He hired a private investigator to keep an eye on his ex. The private eye found out where she was. So Tan drives over to where her car was parked. He unlocks it because he still had a set of keys on him from when they were married. He unwraps the weed. He drops it in her car, and then for Christ's sake, talk about bad timing, here she comes.
Oh, no.
She walks up on him while he's in the act of framing her. She called police. After a lot of nonsense and lying to the cops, Tan was eventually arrested for this stupid effing weed scam.
It's weird to me that he'd only get 3 years in prison for something like that if you can die for having it.
Yeah, I don't. There's a lot in this story that I can't quite put together.
I don't have a name here, but this person said, I was looking at booking a Singapore trip, and any drugs can actually get you the death penalty, according to them.
They take it seriously.
Jesus balls, is that right? Well, that's not the place to go on your bachelor party weekend.
Yeah, especially if you want to get high, I guess.
Well, we're all going to get high. That's all we do nowadays is get high. So that is really something. What a friggin' process this guy went through. After all that, contacting some drug dealer, borrowing money from a friend to pay for the dope, hiring a private eye to follow his ex, and then at the scene of the crime, as he's putting the marijuana in her car, she pulls up or walks up. Great.
Nuts.
He was so close.
Yeah.
So close.
You're kidding me. He must have turned around and said, you're friggin' kidding me.
As he's putting it in there, she's walking it up.
Tan, what are you doing here, Tan?
I can't believe I'm actually going to get away. Oh, no.
He's thinking he's a genius. Yeah. It came to fruition.
What a
the moment of truth.
For Tan. He hated that lake.
Sports. On the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
By unanimous decision, with a total score of 83 hot dogs eaten, the winner of the first ever Netflix unfinished beef hot dog competition and new world record holder, it's Joey Chestnut!
So, Cubby, did you watch the stupid hot dog eating showdown of the century yesterday?
No, I just figured I'd read about it last night, which is what I did.
Anybody?
I watched it.
That was one poorly put together program.
Oh, was it really?
It was terrible.
They had so much time, and they've been hyping this forever.
It was absolutely terrible. There was when they host the gig at that Nathan's joint in New York City, wherever the hell it is. That's a great show.
Oh, it is fun.
It's gross, of course. Competitive eating is gross.
It is gross.
Yeah. But the hosts of that show on Coney Island, they put on such a great act.
They're hilarious.
It's funny, and it's fun, and it's... The show yesterday, Rob Riggle and one of the Bella twins, and they were just awful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure they got paid quite a few bucks to host that program, right? I think I would turn that money down because I would say there's no way, just no way that for 90 minutes I can act like I care about this. You know what I mean?
That's too bad. I really thought it would be quite a production.
It was terrible.
Netflix, they got a couple of bucks.
I believe it was it produced by the same people who put on WWE shows?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
It came off like a bad WWE promo. It was just, what's his nuts, Chestnut? 880 hot dogs. My guy.
He dominated.
Kobayashi did his best. He only ate 69 or something like that. But I'm sorry, that show sucked.
Did seem really forced and thrown together. They had some former Olympic swimmers challenging a guy in buffalo wings eating contest at one point.
Oh, see, I skipped that. That must have been one of the pre-matches.
Yeah, exactly. They had opening round matches for this thing.
So I don't know. I mean, what's the future of competitive eating now? And I know a million people just said, who effing cares? But now that they've pulled this off, where the hell do they go? Where do they go from here? If Chestnut's not going to be at the Coney Island thing anymore, if Kobayashi's not going to be at the... This is just going to go away, isn't it?
I would think so,
It's just going to go away. Unfortunately, the show was just terrible, but okay, cool. Chestnut and Kobayashi were together again. There you go. Twins and Tampa Bay Rays. First of 4 last night, and the Twins got the 5-4 win thanks to Trevor Larnach and Brooks Lee getting out the dongs. And a much-needed solid performance by the Twins' relief pitching staff. They'll go again tonight, and you'll see the rookie David Festa for the Twins against a lefty on the Rays roster called Jeffrey Springs. We'll talk to Randy Shaver and Dick Bremer about the Twins coming up in a half hour. Josh's News coming up next.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Did you know that Standard Heating opened its doors over 90 years ago? That's right. Tony Ferreira opened the doors in 1930, now ran by his granddaughter Claire Ferreira. Call Standard Heating and Air Conditioning today and experience the customer service and care that holds true today.
Are you looking to improve your work-life balance with excellent benefits like 401k match and even tuition reimbursement? Standard Heating and Air is looking for an accounting administrator and customer service representatives to join their team. Learn more at standardheating.com/careers today.
Every week, Michael Rosenbaum is getting deep with someone new on the Inside of You podcast.
Lou Graham of Foreigner. Want to know what love is. Feels like the first time. What is the hardest song to sing?
I've been waiting for a girl like you.
Yeah. I try to karaoke that song because it seems, waiting for a girl like you.
The verses are nice and
easy. But when you say waiting, that's it. I'm done with karaoke. Yeah, I guess.
Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
I have no idea. We're good neighbors. We keep to ourselves. We behave ourselves. And I can't imagine that somebody would want to do some kind of retribution.
Kentucky police are working to crack the case of a disturbed 23-year-old man who left a nasty surprise on the same porch several times in about a week. Police said they've received multiple reports about a so-called porch pooper, they're calling him, who's now a minor internet celebrity thanks to doorbell cam videos making the rounds on Reddit and Instagram.
He's a minor internet celebrity.
He's become...
And he's pooping on people's front porches?
One Kentucky family in particular.
Oh, one particular porch.
Video of the gag-inducing display shows a 23-year-old man wearing a red shirt, dark-colored shorts, and socks without shoes, confidently bounding up the front steps of the home at an unhurried pace before squatting. The rogue defecator left his initial calling card late Monday night, but has been back several times since, leaving a large loaf on the lanai. Tuesday morning, I went out to my front porch and I noticed what I thought was cat poop, said Jim. It's a pseudonym, by the way, used by the homeowner, who is understandably keeping a low profile. Jim cleaned up the mess, not thinking much about it, until he checked his doorbell camera. And much to his dismay, saw the crap wasn't from a cat, but a hot duke from a dude, who, for good measure, also peed on their welcome mat.
This guy's going to get shot.
Yeah.
The man they're calling the porch pooper returned yet again Thursday night, but didn't leave anything behind. Instead, he slapped the front door of the home before retreating out of view of the camera. Jim said he's never seen the man before and has no clue why his porch has come under such unfriendly fire. The porch pooper of Kentucky joins the ranks of other illustrious freestyle feces depositors in recent years, like Colorado's Mad Pooper, a lady jogger who pooped in people's yards.
I remember her.
The parking lot pooper of Ashland, Mass., a 51-year-old woman busted for allegedly turning a store parking lot into her own personal potty, pooping there a staggering 8 times in roughly a month. And, of course, New Jersey's infamous pooperintendent of schools, a school superintendent accused of leaving a butt-dumpling barrage in various locations around Homedale High School's track and football fields, and a psychologist has checked in on his thoughts as to why they're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
He said the odd phenomenon of serial poopers means people are seeking a rush by pushing the envelope and getting to the edge of civil behavior.
I'm glad I've never received a well-deserved pooping-related nickname.
You're a well-deserved?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're somebody who poops in inappropriate places enough to warrant a nickname, yeah, I'm glad I've just never been in that scenario.
Well, we could call you the backpack pooper.
Yeah, something like that.
So the dude who's taking the brunt of these front porch deucings, how's he doing?
He's more confused than he said. Well, I'm glad the guy's not violent, but what's next? I mean, is this...
He has no idea why this individual's picking on him in particular.
Not yet, no.
And the pooper really doesn't poop much. He thought it was cat turds.
Well, you know, nobody bats 1,000, Wapple. I don't know about you, but at any rate, I just, wow, did this maniac, he certainly has gotten lucky and picked the right victim, because most folks would just step out and beat him to death with a baseball bat.
He did confront him or tried to confront him once, but the guy took off before he got out the front door.
Jesus, I would be absolutely furious.
Yeah, I think, like that guy, I'd be just confused and wonder, what did we do? Why is he picking on us?
And please, you said something that the 8th graders and the grown dorks on social media are making a celebrity out of this friggin' guy?
Yeah.
I give up.
5 teens were hurt in a shooting at Burnsville's Red Oak Park Friday. Officers got to the park off Highway 77 about 8:15 p.m. and found several people injured.
I think it was an ambush. They were standing by the warming house when they noticed 4 people come up from behind the hill wearing all black and opened fire. They completely came out of nowhere.
They were taken to the hospital for gunshot wounds. 3 of them were. 1 injured person made it to a local hospital on their own, while another was treated at the scene and released. Police say all the victims are teens. A 16-year-old, a 17-year-old, 2 18-year-olds, and a 19-year-old. Officials say the shots were fired in the basketball court area of the park. Police secured the scene and began searching for suspects, who officials say ran from the area through a wooded area.
When I heard the shots, I looked out the back door, and there were people screaming, "Oh my God." Cars were peeling out. People were running. It was just chaos.
The investigation is ongoing.
Just random kids shooting at other kids in a park.
Yeah, it sounds like that, or maybe it was a targeted thing, because at least one witness that you heard there, she said it was an ambush.
For Christ's sake.
A memorial is growing outside the Park Tavern following the horrific crash Sunday, which claimed the life of a longtime server and a Methodist hospital nurse, and seriously injured at least 3 others. A suspected drunk driver crashed into the patio of the popular St. Louis Park resident where coworkers had gathered to celebrate the last ICU shift of a fellow nurse.
I was just really shook up. We heard the sirens last night and didn't know what was going on. So to hear that lives were taken was really upsetting.
These are wonderful people.
If there's any malfeasance, I just pray that justice is served.
The group was struck by an SUV driven by a 56-year-old man who's being held on probable cause criminal vehicular homicide.
Good Lord.
Charges are expected to be filed against the driver in the crash as early as today.
What a friggin' tragedy.
Totally unnecessary. An unusual chain of events in Inver Grove Heights ended with a 25-year-old suspect driving off as police tried to arrest him, injuring an officer in the process. Police gave details of the incident overnight September 1st, which started when two people were found slumped over in a car. The passenger was arrested on outstanding warrants, and the 32-year-old driver was arrested for a drug-related DWI. A blood sample was taken, and she was booked into jail, but she was allowed to leave provided she could be released to a, quote, sober party, and that's where things got even worse. The driver called a friend who agreed to drive to the department and pick her up. However, the 27-year-old driver who came to pick her up arrived in a stolen vehicle, displaying the license plates of another car, and had 3 active warrants for his arrest.
How does this continue happening?
I don't know. The driver called a friend who agreed to drive to the police department, right? That's the whole gist.
Right.
He shows up in the stolen car, stolen plate, and he's got some warrants. He handed the DWI officer his ID, and that's when they found out he was wanted by multiple counties. A statement from the department on social media read, "The officer returned to the male who knew about his warrants but still showed up to speak with us. When our officer was opening the door to take him into custody, he slammed on the gas and took off." Police chased the suspect, who headed northbound on Highway 52. He was eventually stopped when a South St. Paul officer performed a pit maneuver. Strangely enough, over the past couple of months, that same Inver Grove Heights DWI officer has had 3 arrests stemming from incidents which began in the parking lot of the police station, 2 of them leading to vehicle pursuits.
That's one of my favorites.
I like that one.
You're in jail, call a buddy to get you out of here. The buddy shows up drunk or dripping with arrest warrants. You know what I mean? I don't get it.
Remember a few years back where a young man, he gets busted for a D-dub? Calls his mom to come pick him up. She shows up. She's drunk. She calls her husband. He shows up. He's drunk.
It's just you can't make it up.
A 32-year-old man in a Ford Bronco Sport terrorized golfers on a Delaware course Thursday, ramming into at least one cart while speeding through holes. And the wild scene was captured on video.
He's just driving his Ford Bronco smooth across the golf course?
Yeah. According to Ashley's home with COVID, I don't know if she's put up anything online or not.
She said she was going to.
She did? Okay. According to authorities, then this one should be up there if that's the case. According to authorities, the incident happened at Deerfield Golf Club in Newark about 2:20 p.m. Law enforcement said after hitting a golf cart and ejecting its occupant, the driver of the Bronco sped off and fled the scene. In video shot by a bystander, you can see just how dangerously the man was driving. He nearly hit multiple people who were getting set to play. Thankfully, officers were able to locate the suspect shortly after being called to the scene. He's now facing a myriad of charges, including DUI and reckless endangerment. As for the golfers, luckily none of them sustained any major injury.
One dude got flicked right out of the golf cart.
Yeah, shot him right out.
Son of a bitch.
A 61-year-old Florida woman was arrested last week after following a couple home in her car while drunk, crashing into their mailbox, and then parking on their lawn, which is no way for an elected official to behave.
Oh, wow.
The woman just so happens to be the mayor of Naples.
The mayor?
Yes. Officers responded to a 911 call Wednesday night from a man who said he and his wife were being followed home by a woman driving a silver vehicle. At first, the man said the woman was completely unknown to them, but later the situation changed when the woman identified herself.
911, what is the emergency?
I think the mayor is drunk, and she just literally up, and she just drove over our mailbox.
The mayor did?
I don't know. She's claiming to be the mayor. I don't know who she is.
The back and forth continues.
Did she ever tell you her name or anything like that?
What is your name, ma'am?
Mayor Teresa Heitman.
What the hell?
Heitman claimed the couple cut her off in traffic, prompting her frustration. However, cops soon became suspicious of her alcohol consumption and decided to conduct a sobriety test. In video footage, the mayor, who suddenly said she wasn't the mayor, was unable to keep her balance, leading cops to arrest her on the spot.
All right, did she ever tell you her name or anything like that?
I said, Mayor, will you come on over
No,
here?
don't call me mayor.
Okay.
I am Teresa Heitman right now.
Okay.
I'm not the mayor.
Unfortunately, right now, you are going to be placed under arrest for driving under the influence of alcohol, okay?
Like a superhero, she was just a regular persona, not the mayor.
What is wrong with this lady?
Despite claiming she had one glass of wine, maybe it was a big one, she had a BAC of .169.
Yeah, she parties.
A 38-year-old suspected drunken neighbor aiming for a tree in his own backyard fired bullets into a family's mobile home Sunday.
The RP saying they shot through the bedroom window and again just now.
Dude did what now?
So he's firing at a tree in his backyard, missed, and he
Oh.
takes out a neighbor's mobile home.
Oh.
After the family called 911, deputies responded to the home on Evergreen Terrace, just north of DeLand, Texas. During their search, authorities discovered the suspect, Alex Kudlak, who was actually the family's intoxicated neighbor, aiming at his own tree. In a moment of clarity, the neighbor told deputies, "Yeah, I'm a dumbass."
He said there's nobody in the house.
Yeah, I'm a dumb. All right, sit down for me.
Fair enough.
One of the cops said, "That's accurate." He was arrested and charged with shooting into a dwelling, using a firearm while under the influence, criminal mischief, and 2 counts of child endangerment.
Ah, dang.
A Connecticut man brought his own balls to his local bowling alley last Tuesday, but regrettably, he exposed them to a child. The 55-year-old, a registered sex offender, was arrested after whipping it out in front of a kid in the game room of Spare Time Entertainment.
Yeah.
Police say it happened while a couple of young girls, ages 6 and 8, were at the bowling alley with their grandmother, and at least one of them saw it.
You wouldn't think that in the town of Vernon that kind of thing would happen. I'm surprised to hear it, and it's too bad that the kind of thing happens. I hope it didn't affect any young people.
The Connecticut creep has a long criminal history with past public indecency arrests and has also been arrested in Massachusetts for indecent exposure there and open and gross lewdness.
There's a perfectly good grandmother there you could have exposed yourself to. But he chose the kids, huh?
Authorities in Wisconsin arrested a 25-year-old man who was going around to different businesses, asking women for a hug, and then crossing the line by touching them inappropriately in their privates. According to the Superior Police Department, they received several reports about this younger guy making women uncomfortable at various spots in Superior. Witnesses said he'd strike up a conversation with women, once claiming that something bad was happening in his life. Then he'd ask for a hug to make him feel better and take that opportunity to touch them inappropriately. Police say they're concerned there could be other incidents that have yet to be reported.
Well, F me running.
It's not unusual to hear about software bugs causing problems with computers, but real live ones, that's definitely more unexpected. That's exactly what happened, however, at a high school in North Carolina. The school year, Riverside High, the school year at Riverside High School got off to an itchy start after bed bugs were discovered in Google Chromebooks stored in the school's media center over the summer.
I wonder what kid drug those into the building.
Somebody brought them in and they stayed there. The bed bugs were discovered in the laptop students took home, spreading from the school to their homes.
I was shocked. I was like, what? I opened the email and I was like, bed bugs?
A district spokesperson said the laptops were issued during freshman orientation before classes began August 26th. Now the school is asking for the newly issued laptops to be returned and encouraging families to inspect their homes.
Bed bugs can be a nuisance. That's just not something that I'd like to bring into my home and expose my loved ones to.
According to Terminix Pest Control, bed bugs can hide in the tiny gaps and openings of laptops and other electronics, though they'll eventually leave to seek out a blood host.
A blood host?
My favorite kind of host.
That's a pretty cool name, blood host.
It is. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's intimidating.
Yeah, it is intimidating. I like it. Olympic snowboarder Shaun White, 38 today. Legendary woodsman Charlie Sheen. Somehow he made it to 59.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Happy birthday to Kenny from Scenic Mojob Jesus, and that's 93X News.
All-time great broadcaster and Minnesota Twins ambassador, Dick Bremer.
That's a heck of a call right there.
Oh, my goodness gracious. There it goes!
On the Half-Ass Morning Show.
Flying deep to left center field. This one carrying near the wall. Jumping up and is gone. A home run. Brooks Lee with a home run to the left of dead center. His second base hit tonight is third of his big league career. The Twins add on, and it's 5-3.
All right, yeah, again, we certainly hope everybody, every damn last one of you, we hope you had a glorious Labor Day weekend. Starting out on a Tuesday here, that means a 4-day work week, which is great, Randy Shaver. Not that you would know the difference anymore.
That's right. Every day is Saturday.
Every day is Saturday?
Every day is Saturday. Yes.
That's the way to do it.
Not that you know the damn difference anymore, but yeah, we got a short work week. Also, welcome to the show, KARE 11 television star Janel Klein.
Good morning.
What's going on, Jungle Jane? And here to talk Twins baseball with us, Dick Bremer. Hello, Dick.
Good morning, everybody.
Well, good morning to you. How was your Labor Day weekend? Now, did you finally get a chance to spend some time at the fair?
You know what? I haven't been to the fair in years. I did not go this year. I spent time up north, and they set records, I guess, at the state fair again this year, but they did it without me.
Yeah, we'll get you back there at one point or another and fill you full of corn on the cob and pork chops and pronto pups until we can just roll you to the exit maybe one of these years.
A lot of great food to be had there. It's the last time I was there, I distinctly remember walking and smelling something really delicious and then taking 3 steps and smelling the sheep barn. And that's kind of a little sensory whiplash for me.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Well, so you were up north doing a little fishing then. Is that what was going on, Dick?
A little bit, boating and just enjoying a nice, relaxing day. Again, these summer holidays without me doing a baseball game are a bit of an adjustment, but it was a really good day yesterday.
That's good to hear. Yeah, a hell of an adjustment. Randy Shaver, who cares what he did with his Labor Day? Because like he said, every day is Saturday.
I was there at the Twins. I threw out the first pitch on Sunday.
Yeah, tell us about throwing out the first pitch on Sunday. How did it go?
Well, first of all, it was a beautiful day on Sunday. And the Twins were kind enough to have my family there, too. So it was fun. The pitch was a little high and to the outside.
Yeah, I had that same problem.
Yep, but it crossed the plate, and Tommy Watkins made a nice catch to save it. And I had a chance to meet Rocco Baldelli for the first time, which was very nice.
You see, all they did was usher me through the darkest alley of darkest tunnel of Target Field. I didn't get to meet anybody, and I had to throw to the bear. You got to throw to Tommy Watkins, and next thing you know, you're hanging out with Rocco.
Yeah, it was very nice. And of course, I've known Dustin Morse and Mike Herman for a long time. Mike Herman used to be an intern for me.
Yeah.
He's now the travel director for the Twins, and has been for a while. So it was a very special day, and I thank those guys very much because I had a great time. My family had a great time. And my son caught a screaming foul ball, barehanded, left-handed, to save a woman behind him.
Wow.
It was amazing.
Is that right?
Didn't spill his drink, which was amazing.
Did he chug his drink after he caught it? That's the new hot thing to do.
Well, he didn't do that because I think we were all stunned.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where, we were sitting right in front of the press box.
He never was a very good athlete, your son.
Well, that's not true.
I want to know which son.
Ryan.
Oh, Ryan. Okay.
And he caught one left-handed, which was pretty amazing.
Well, maybe we see that on Bleacher Report later today or something. They always publish those types of videos. That's really cool.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh, it was a screamer.
Well, I hope he didn't bring a glove. He's 40. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was a lady behind him where if Ryan wouldn't have made the grab, she might have been knocked a few reading levels.
Catch. All I can say is that I kind of was protecting Bella because I saw it coming, and I kept saying to Ryan as it left the bat.
Your granddaughter. You were protecting your granddaughter.
My granddaughter, right. I just kept saying to Ryan, I just kept saying his name, Ryan, because it was coming right at him. And he reached up and snagged it, and it was pretty cool.
Sounds like, hey, Randy had better seats than we had, too, when we went out there.
Definitely does.
Well, that's a cool story.
Yeah.
Did he keep the ball or
And
give it to a kid?
If I saw it correctly, Randy, you, as I did for the home opener, went to the front of the mound to deliver your pitch, correct?
I certainly did. I was not going to risk not getting the ball to home plate.
So you didn't stand on the bump?
I did not.
Okay.
No.
Well, Ryan, he still got it, huh? He made the grab.
He did on that moment. Yes.
Yeah. Well, he saved the late. Josh, do I have to again? Do I have to talk about?
You probably should.
You know, I'm happy that Ryan saved this lady from a foul ball hitting her in the schnoz. But I saved a newborn baby at a Saints game in the exact same style. It was a newborn baby, one row behind me. And, Josh, what would you say that ball was coming in about 90, 100 miles an hour?
At least.
And I also made the so I don't know. I saved a baby. Do I win, Janelle? Is it a competition?
Totally. Also, I've heard you're a very good high school athlete.
Oh, incredible.
Kind of a legend at Wayzata High School.
Incredible high school.
Who'd you hear that from?
Everyone in Wayzata.
Well, good for you, Randy Shaver. I'm glad you had a good time out there with the family and everything. But Wapple, when you threw out the first pitch, you didn't find yourself in the dugout hanging out with Rocco, did you?
No, I didn't.
No, you didn't.
No, Rocco. But at least I made it over the plate. Sounds like we got the best athlete right here.
We'll go best out of 10 someday, Wapple. We'll see how that plays out.
No, I think we're good.
You're retiring?
Yep.
Good for you.
Twins and Tampa Bay Rays played the first of four last night, everybody, and the Twins got the win 5-4, had a couple of dongs into the bleachers there, thanks to Trevor Larnach and Brooks Lee and Dick Bremer. We saw a solid performance by the Twins relief pitching staff, which I think we all as fans needed to see.
Yeah, it was a disappointing start for Simeon Woods Richardson in terms of length and effectiveness, and the bullpen picked it up from there and did a great job. But particularly in the first game of a series, you don't really want to get whatever it was, 3 2/3 innings from your starter, because that kind of sets you back for the remainder of the series against Tampa Bay. But there's a fan out there in right field in a field that probably wishes Ryan Shaver was out there, because he got smoked by the Larnach home run. Larnach hit a rocket out there, and apparently caught a fan, and they met after the game, and everybody was fine. But I guess Trevor not only hit it over the fence, he smoked one of the fans there.
Oh no! See, I watched the Larnach home run. I didn't notice that. So did the guy get hit in the head or the chest, or and then?
Yeah, I'm not sure where he got hit, but Trevor invited him down to the field afterwards, signed a bat and a ball for him, and thankfully he was okay. But when my son was really young, I took him out to left field to watch a ball game just at the Metrodome, just to give him a different perspective. And Paul Konerko hit a rocket out to left field that landed about 5 seats away from us. And that was, 400 feet from home plate, and it was still smoking hot. Mm-hmm. And fans need to be careful, because you talk about the exit velocity. Well, the entrance velocity out in left field or right field, in this case last night, is still pretty high.
Yeah, and Larnach really ripped that one. I mean, that was from home plate to the bleachers. It was a blink of an eye, so that thing was really cooking. Well, that's kind of funny. Yep. So the guy goes down into the clubhouse afterwards with a black eye and gets a baseball bat signed or something like that. That was a 3-run shot by Larnach. Brooks Lee hit a solo home run also in the game, but the relief staff, 5 1/3 innings. They did give up 1 run. I believe that was also on a solo home run. And Johan Duran had a nice 9th inning. So it's been iffy lately, the bullpen and the pitching, as we've covered many times. We got these young guys who are having to carry the load. But the bullpen was up to the task yesterday. I like Simeon Woods Richardson's comment after the game. Like Dick said, he went 3 2/3 only, but he did say after the game, "We got to win. You don't hear any complaining from me." So he's looking at the big picture.
And the pressure now is on for David Festa tonight to pitch deeper into the ball game, but you really don't know what you're going to get from these guys. So far, they've done okay, and the Twins they got the 4th best record in the American League, largely because Simeon Woods Richardson's been really, really good. Festa's had some good moments. Zebby Matthews' last start wasn't very good, but the Twins are going to have to ride it out now because they put Joe Ryan on the 60-day injured list, and he's not going to help them, at least during the regular season.
And look around, too. I mean, what a difference a week makes. Look at Kansas City. They've lost 6 in a row. They were one time, they were like virtually tied with Cleveland.
Yeah, they were humming.
4.5 back.
They were humming for a stretch of time there, but now things have fallen off for the Royals. By the way, a listener has texted in to say that the home run that Trevor Larnach just smoked into right field last night hit the fan between the eyes and broke his glasses.
My glasses.
Poor guy.
He's going to have to tape him up now, like the Hanson brothers. I'm not trying to laugh at another man's pain, but like Dick said, he was all right. He went and got an autograph. Hit him between the eyes and broke his glasses. Holy smokes. That would be a shame. All right. Oh, Manny Margot is hurt now. Buck did go 1 for 3 in a game with the Saints yesterday. So that's the latest on those gentlemen.
And played, I believe, 7 innings out in center field, which is more important than the 1 for 3 because they really need to get Byron's defense, his glove, back out in center field. That's a pretty big hole to patch when you lose your center fielder for an extended period of time, or if you lose your shortstop, and the Twins have lost both Buxton and KARE, and it looks like Buxton at least is on the verge of coming back to the big league club.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. David Festa tonight against a lefty named Jeffrey Springs. I don't know about the rest of you, but whenever I watch a game at Tropicana Field, it reminds me of those mid-'80s games at the old Metrodome. You know what I mean? Where it's just some sections are completely vacant of people, and they got kind of a sprinkling of, Anyway.
You can be sitting in the upper level and heckle the outfielder, and they'll be able to hear you because it's so dead in there.
Yeah, I mean, they had a decent crowd, I guess, yesterday. I mean, we've seen worse at Tropicana Field, and certainly worse at whatever the Marlins ballpark is called. But it brings me back. It's just fun to think back to those days, which we do a lot on this program. How about Sunday's Twins-Blue Jays game? Did everyone see this second baseman from the Blue Jays go shooting into the netting to make a foul ball?
I was there.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
yeah.
You were there, Randy.
Crazy.
Leo Jimenez, people are calling it one of the most daring plays on a foul ball they've ever seen. Kepler hit a little pop-up along the first baseline, right field line. Here comes Leo Jimenez shooting between 2 of his teammates. And, yeah, he did not care. He just sent himself over the rail and into the netting. He was okay, and he made the catch.
And it was, 20 years ago, Jeter did just the opposite, or did the same thing at the opposite end of the field in foul territory and dove into the stands, but there was no net. And he came up with blood all over his face and all that. It's amazing what these guys are willing to do, but not as amazing as what fans are willing to do to get a foul ball once they're diving for pop-ups and all that. But that was a heck of a catch on Sunday. That was something else. And I think the Twins got 2 bases on the tagging up on that play, something like that.
Yeah, it was. I was trying to follow it. I think the rule is once Jimenez was out of play, then a runner scored on the play, but he was called back to third base because Jimenez. I was a little confused by the rule, but that was a heck of a catch. Stayed in the ball game. He was fine. All right. How about a misery update on the Chicago White Sox?
I love these.
Let's see what the latest is here with the White Sox. Of course, they're still heading for that all-time loss record. Most folks think they'll get there. Chris Flexen, one of their starting pitchers, over the weekend, I don't know, was it yesterday or the day before? The White Sox lost their 20th straight time that Flexen has started a ball game. That's miserable. That's just miserable. 20 straight times where Flexen has started, they lost the game. He didn't take the loss in all of those situations, as far as I know, but the team ended up losing. That's Dick Bremer. That's got to play with your confidence a little bit.
Well, and, if you're Chris Flexen, sure, but how'd you like to be the teammate? You want to get to the ballpark and feel like we got a really good chance of winning tonight, and the starting pitcher is a guy who hasn't pitched in a win for 20 games. I checked the Flexen's record. He's like 3-13, but the 3 wins must have come very early in the season. And right now, as we speak, the White Sox are on a pace to go 36 and 126.
Jesus. So would that tie the record then?
No, that would shatter it.
That would break
it. Yeah. The 62 Mets, an expansion team, lost 120.
Okay.
And they've, I looked. I don't think I've ever seen it before. When I looked at the standings this morning, and of course the White Sox have already been eliminated on September 2nd or 3rd. I mean, that's amazing when you consider, still got 4 weeks left to go in the season.
Middle of August.
Yeah.
Okay, 120 is the record. 126 would, like you said, that would shatter the record. Oh, see, now I'm upset. Now, a listener sent me a picture of Randy Shaver sitting at Sunday's Twins game. They were sitting a couple rows behind you, and the Twins gave you a personalized jersey. None of us got a friggin' personalized jersey.
Nope. Not me.
You got number 11 in Shaver on the back. We just got one. We got the same one. I had to give mine back after it was over. I had to give it back.
Why was it 11 and not 93? What
yeah,
the
you
hell?
don't work for Channel 11 anymore. You got a personalized jersey.
Wow. What a bunch of crybabies.
When they announce you
in baseball?
When they announce you, Randy, did they mention 93X?
No.
I thought you wrote up your own thing.
That's because you didn't mention it. You write something up for them.
I didn't write anything up.
Well, you should have. You should have. Got a personalized jersey. I wish I would have read cue cards for 40 years. Right, Dick Bremer? Stand with me on this one, Dick.
Yeah, well, it's a great tribute for Randy, and he'll wear that jersey proudly, I'm sure, to go incognito to Twins games down the road.
I'm just looking for fair treatment is what I'm looking for between radio and television person. But television people always get like a little extra something, don't they, Janelle? You're on Easy Street.
Always.
Yeah. I'm going to pull a Chris Sale if I ever see that Shaver jersey. I'm going to cut it up. I'm going to grab a scissors and cut it up. Now, okay, further with the White Sox misery. Oh, okay, there was some positive information on the White Sox. White Sox lefty Garrett Crochet. Okay, they lost Sunday, of course. He tied a White Sox franchise record and an American League record for consecutive strikeouts to start a game. He struck out the first 7 batters he faced. Good for him and good for them that they had some amount of positivity there.
He's been their shining light this whole season, really.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he still leads the major leagues in strikeouts, but he's up there.
What I have here, Dick Bremer, Randy Shaver, is he is 3rd in the American League. Yep. He has 188 strikeouts on the season, Garrett Crochet. And it was only a handful of years ago that a Chicago White Sox pitcher by the name of Carlos Rodon matched that 7 strikeouts to start a game, and that was against the Twins in 20+16.
And he's now
that might have been the game Rodon had that. He threw a no-hitter. I guess it was Dylan Cease who almost threw a perfect game against the Twins. And again, that was just a few years ago that the White Sox were considered one of the top franchises in baseball, won a division or 2 along the way, and it's just been an absolute and utter collapse for them. It's really been rather remarkable how far they have fallen from where they were just a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. That same game on Sunday, so I gave you a little bright spot. Crochet striking out the first 7 batters he faced, but now back to the darkness. That same game on Sunday made this year's White Sox club the losingest ever. Losingest White Sox team they've ever had. And like we said, they're still heading for that all-time big league mark. Dick Bremer, here we go. I was looking at ESPN.com, and 18 of their Major League Baseball writers, guys who follow the game every day, made their predictions for how the rest of the season is going to play out as far as division winners and wild card winners and all that. They did not go as far as to predict the World Series just yet. But on the topic of the American League Central, 12 of the 18 baseball writers said the Guardians will finish in first place. 5 of them picked the Royals, and I wonder if they wrote this up during this 6th game, before the 6th game. 1 of their writers picked the Twins to win the division. So the majority of their voters seem to think Cleveland is starting to pull away. What do you guys think? How does everyone think it's going to play out? Do you see the Twins as having I mean, they're only 3.5 games out. There's a chance, of course, but do you, in your prediction, would you say the Twins end up winning the division, the Royals, or the Guardians?
Well, I'll just say that the Twins have a big series. Of course, they're all big in September, right? But from Tampa Bay, they go to Kansas City on the back end of the road trip, and it'll be a big series. But the one that will really stand out will be the one in Cleveland, and I think it's a 4-game series in Cleveland over a weekend. And I think we'll have a lot clearer picture. You know, the Twins had their opportunity when Cleveland was at Target Field. They won both games of a doubleheader, and all they really had to do was win one of the next couple of games, and they would have probably be caught up with the Guardians by now. But that 4-game series, I think it's a 4-gamer in Cleveland, is really going to be a key series.
Randy Shaver?
Well, I would say if they were healthy, if Correa was back, I would say they've got a really good shot. I'm concerned about their injury situation. Certainly the loss of Joe Ryan does not help. I would say, just looking at it right now, that Cleveland likely will win the division. But the Twins will make the playoffs, and anything can happen once you get there. So
yeah, I mean, winning the division's great and everything, but you don't need it. You can just be a wild card team. I know
if you want to have home field, I mean, that's the only thing. So
the way it sits right now, if I'm not mistaken, if the the old saying, if the playoffs started today, they would face the Baltimore Orioles in the opening round,
and they would be in Baltimore. Yeah.
Does that scare anybody?
Which would be interesting because the Orioles come to Target Field to close out the regular season.
Oh, yeah.
And could be a playoff preview of the 3 games at Target Field right before the playoffs start.
Yeah, the final series here at home is against Baltimore.
Baltimore's had their share of injuries, certainly in their starting rotation, too. So they're not as formidable as they were when the season started, but it'll be a great series.
I wonder who that one, I wonder if I could look up who the writer is on ESPN that said the Twins will end up winning the division, and what Hennepin County neighborhood they grew up in. Maybe. I don't know. All right, Dick Bremer, you know the old saying, baseball, hot dogs, and apple pie. You didn't spend any time watching the hot dog eating contest yesterday, did you?
Oh, I heard about it, though, this morning. The guy in 10 minutes ate 81 hot dogs or something like that. My goodness.
I'll get your calories in for the day.
Yeah. Randy Shaver, Janel Klein, did you check out the hot dog eating showdown of the century yesterday?
I did not. Sorry.
I didn't, but I loved it. And wasn't there some controversy with him this year around the July 4th one? Is that why he was doing this?
Yeah. Josh, Joey Chestnut's your favorite all-time athlete. Explain to Janel what happened with Jaws.
He signed some sort of endorsement deal with Impossible Foods.
Okay.
And so the normal Coney's one said, Nathan said, you're not going to be a part of this anymore.
Okay. So now is he competing against different people, or is it the same? It's just it's Labor Day instead of 4th of July.
This was like an exhibition.
Okay.
He's just going to start showing up at people's houses, challenging them to hot dog contest.
You, me, go.
This was just an exhibition where he was taking on Takeru Kobayashi, who was the greatest competitive eater until Chestnut came along. They haven't competed.
Big-time rivalry.
Big rivalry. They hate each other's guts.
Yeah.
They haven't hot dogged against each other in over a decade or something. So this was one, I mentioned this earlier, this was a poorly put together program, but whatever. The two guys got up there, and that stuff it's becoming harder and harder for me to watch this happen.
I'm with you.
It is so tough. 83 hot dogs, Chestnut ate in 10 minutes. Kobayashi ate 66. But I'm telling you, I have to look away from the television because it's so disturbing to watch what they're doing.
You don't think they look like they're having fun?
Oh, they look miserable.
Oh, my gosh. The facial expressions are like, oh.
It is.
It is hard. It's hard to watch.
They are in pain.
It's pretty gross.
Oh.
But Chestnut got $100,000.
Oh, really?
The winner got $100,000.
At least 100. I mean, just in the cash prize.
Do we know if they puke afterwards?
Janelle, it's not called puking. They class it up and they call it a reversal of fortune.
Do they reverse their fortune as soon as
All I know is in the rules at the beginning they say, you're disqualified if you have a reversal of fortune.
Well, I bet that happened a weekend or two in St. Cloud State with you, Dana.
Oh, every weekend.
But after it's over, when the cameras are off, I don't know. You would think that you would, come on.
You'd have to, right?
You'd have to.
You would just be miserable for days after such a thing.
Yeah.
Someone's got a burrito in the microwave.
No, I apologize. This is like the 6th time the fire alarm is going off here at the house, but we're not on fire.
Oh, okay.
So that's on my end.
Well, for God's sake, Dick Bremer, I hope you're not on fire.
No, we're fine.
All right. You got a battery that's running low or something?
I have no idea.
We had a fire here in the building. Years ago, we had a fire in the building.
That was awesome.
And we had a problem here with the fire alarm in the building, where it was going off with no fire. The fire system here was broken. So one day, the fire alarm starts going off again. Josh and I did not move from our chairs. This is after we got off the air at 9 a.m., so we're doing miserable prep work for the next day. We did not move out of our chairs because we figured it was another false alarm. Josh finally walks out of the studio, and there's not one living soul in the building. There's a horrible smell of smoke, and he says, this one's for real. So we walk out of the building. The entire staff is out in the parking lot. Firemen have hoses over their shoulders. Nobody said a word to us about it.
Oh, my God.
We were left for dead.
We were. Yeah, nobody said a thing. And this was back, Janelle, you walk through the halls now, they're empty, right? Yeah. But pre-pandemic, there was a lot of people, and pre-Cullings, when the company fired a bunch of people, there were a lot of people in this building. And not a soul. It was creepy.
What did anyone say to you when you got to the parking lot?
Nothing. They were too distracted by the firemen.
Yeah.
The attention they paid to the firemen was kind of embarrassing.
It was obscene.
I felt bad for. They were treated like pieces of meat, Janelle, and that's a true story.
One final competitive eating note here before we go. In a place called Belding, Michigan, some clown chugged 24 ounces of ranch dressing in 10 seconds.
Oh, gross.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
He seemed kind of defensive about it.
I just drank 24 ounces of ranch dressing. I've seen people pour about that much on their salads, so what's the difference? I don't feel sick at all. It's just ranch dressing.
Yeah, this guy, I don't know what. He's got an attitude about it, but...
24 ounces, that's got to be like 2 full bottles, right?
It's a lot.
I don't know what's in a... you think of it like a 20-ounce Coke or something.
Yeah.
And you know what he got for his diarrhea? He got a $100 gift card. Dick, you better check on that blaze, by God. We don't want anything happening to you. We appreciate your time as usual, and go Twins. We'll talk to you in 1 week's time.
If I'm not there, you'll know why.
Yeah. See you, Dick.
All right, bye.
All right. Well, I hope, I was wondering what the hell was going on over there. Oh, Randy Shaver.
Back to your fire there, Nick. Is that the time when they personally ushered all the folks out from KQ and left you guys there?
Yes.
Rescue helicopter for KQ.
They wrapped them in fireproof suits and soaked them in foam. But yet Josh and I were in here suffering from smoke inhalation and nobody.
That was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Nobody said a word.
No, they didn't even know we were in here. They don't care.
They're taking down autographed Metallica posters off the walls.
Yep.
Getting everything important out of here.
Grab the microphones. What about the two guys? Leave them. We'll grab the...
It also kind of reminds me of the times where other stations have worked out where they've said it's going to be too cold and too miserable blizzard conditions for anybody to come to work. Everybody stay home. Don't even go near a window. It's going to be so cold. But tune into the morning show. They'll be live from the studio starting at 5:40 a.m.
Yeah, that same grace was never offered to the morning show. The rest of the staff, yes, we've been in that situation where the rest of the staff was told, look, the weather is going to be too brutal tomorrow, icy roads, just work from home. Never said a word to us. We're expected to be here. There was one particular terrible winter storm 20-some years ago where our boss at the time offered to put us up in a hotel right down the street here from the building. And we both said, oh, you mean that hotel where they sell massive crack rocks out of every... where a guy got stabbed to death a couple nights ago? Oh, I can't wait to spend the night there. What a great night's sleep we'll get there. It was just a crack rock haven. And they want, oh, no, we'll put you up over there. Yeah, I think I'd rather sleep at home. Randy Shaver, how about a little trivia for you to get you going this morning?
Sure.
Got a trip. Oh, well, actually, we never asked Janelle, what did you do for your Labor Day weekend? Anything wild?
I didn't.
No?
Is that a surprise to you?
No.
That I didn't do something wild?
No.
Yeah, it'd be the other way around. If you said something exciting, it'd be confusing.
I'm just going to keep checking.
Okay,
because
good.
one of these weekends you're going to say, I got a tattoo.
That's right.
And I snorted the cocaine off a male stripper or
That's
something.
right.
One of these.
I'm sure I know the answer to this question, but do you have a tattoo?
I
They're very
don't.
popular. You don't.
I don't. I've told you guys I hate needles.
Oh.
I hate needles. I would faint before it ever started.
Really?
I hate them so much.
Good for you, Janelle. Good for you. Here's a trivia question for Randy Shaver. In the history now of the NFL draft, as we're heading towards another NFL season, God help us, it's here, and there's not a damn thing I can do about it. I think they start playing games on Thursday and Friday, and the Vikings play on Sunday. There's nothing I can do to stop it, as miserable as it makes me feel. In the history of the NFL draft, which college football program has produced the most number one overall NFL draft picks? Go ahead, think about it. Which college football program has produced the most number one overall NFL draft picks? Feel free to text. What's our number again? 651-989-9393 if you want to make a guess. Randy Shaver, let me see here. There are quite a few schools who have had, 4 number one overall draft picks, 5. This school stands alone. They've had 6 number one overall NFL draft picks. 6 of them.
Okay.
Here's a guess from a listener of Louisiana State University. That is incorrect, but not a bad guess. They have had, 2, I believe. 2 number one overall NFL. It is not the Ohio State University.
Nope.
Another listener texted that in. I think they've had 2. Another guess coming in. Randy Shaver was Alabama.
No.
They have had 2. What do you got, Randy?
I'm going to say Southern Cal.
The dude is on. Randy Shaver. He, even with Labor Day, you come into, wait a minute, he's retired. Anyway, the man is correct. The University of Southern California Trojans have had 6 number one overall NFL draft picks. I don't have them in front of me. I wish I did. But they have had 6, followed by Georgia with 5, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, both of those schools, also 5, Auburn 4, and the one that probably will surprise you, Stanford has had 4.
Yeah,
number
not
one.
recently, but back in the day.
All of them were Now, here's one where I do have names, just because it's kind of fun and interesting.
All were quarterbacks.
All 4 of Stanford's number one overall NFL picks were quarterbacks. Bobby Garrett in 1954. Okay, Bobby Garrett. He goes back a ways. Jim Plunkett.
Yes.
In
New England
1971. What's that?
New England Patriots.
Yes, and then he had the bulk of his success with the 49ers and the Raiders. John Elway in 1983, number one overall pick out of Stanford, and Andrew Luck in 2012. You did well, Randy. Very well.
Thank you.
Speaking of the San Francisco 49ers, here's your run-of-the-mill preseason injury. It just so happens that it was a San Francisco 49ers player who fell victim to this common injury. 49ers receiver Ricky Pearsall was shot on Saturday afternoon.
He was walking alone when a suspect approached him and attempted to commit an armed robbery using a gun.
Officials say the 17-year-old didn't target Pearsall for his NFL fame, but his Rolex watch.
We have 2 medics on scene at Green Grant.
The bullet exited out of his back and missed vital organs.
This was a terrible and rare incident in Union Square.
This kind of violence is simply unacceptable in our city.
He's doing all right. But
Amazing.
Ricky Pearsall was shot Saturday afternoon. The bullet went in his chest and came out his back, and he was only in the hospital for a couple hours or something. They just patched him up, and he was out of there. F me running to this kid get lucky.
17-year-old.
Yeah, it's sad.
Well, Pearsall is who I mean.
No, I know, but the person that committed the crime.
Yeah, 17-year-old kid wanted to steal his Rolex watch and shot him for it. Well, they struggled over the gun, and the gun went off and went right through this Pearsall individual.
He's very lucky.
Man. And he had just got done, did I hear this in the audio? He had just got done doing some kind of autograph signing.
Yep.
And I think the kid also got shot, the 17-year-old.
He did, yeah.
They both got shot fighting over the gun. I don't know where the 17-year-old took the bullet, but this Pearsall, I'll be right through him. How about that?
Yeah.
I think I hand over my Rolex watch pretty quickly. But he decided to fight. Where do you stand on that, Josh? Are you going to fight for that?
Well, that's the reason I don't wear any of my Rolexes around. No.
Smart.
I've said before, it's humbling that nowadays I might just have to hand my keys over to an armed 12-year-old, in a carjack.
Right?
Man.
It's why I stay in my home.
I wonder what are the chances of a bullet going right through you like that and you live?
Exactly.
What are the friggin' chances?
So what are they saying about his recovery? Is he on the injured list then, or
That's a good question.
Oh yeah.
I don't. But I mean, obviously he's not going to play football for a little while. But what has anyone seen a long-term plan for?
No.
I wonder how quickly he can come back. If it missed all of his vital organs, there's a hole in him, and they can stitch that up. I mean, I wonder how much time he has to miss.
How long was Plaxico Burress out?
Oh, yeah. God, I forgot about that.
When he shot his leg?
Yeah.
Yeah, at the strip joint.
I love that story.
Yeah, that is pretty good.
And everybody, Josh, you've heard Josh and I take this stand before. Every swinging D on earth went after this Plaxico Burress guy, wanted him to go to jail forever. For Christ's sake, yeah, it was silly that he brought a gun into the strip joint. But, I mean, the guy shot himself in the leg. Isn't that punishment enough? Give the guy a friggin' break.
And I'm walking up the stairs, and I miss a step. And so my gun slides down my pants. So it's getting ready to hit the ground, so I don't want to hit the ground. So when it's sliding down my jeans, I go to stop it if I'm hitting the ground. And I don't think you could do it in a million times. And my finger hit right on the trigger. It's what are the odds of that happening? When it happens, I don't even realize that, I'm shot. I take 2 or 3 steps. I'm like, my pants was wet. I had on some Chuck Taylors, and I looked down, and the top of my shoe was red. And I looked at AP.
Antonio Pierce.
Antonio, and I'm like, yo, take me to the hospital.
I mean, yeah, so, it was a foolish, dumb thing that he did, bringing a gun in there. But he shot himself in the leg, and he pretty much gassed his NFL career at that point. But everyone was clamoring to put this guy away forever. And he's by a lot of accounts, he's a really nice guy. He just made a stupid decision. And as you could tell in the audio, Janel Klein, is that one of the coolest sounding people that has ever lived?
He's so calm about it,
yeah.
too.
Especially the way he said Chuck Taylors.
Yeah.
I had my Chuck Taylor.
That's kind of where we became fans.
Yeah.
After listening to that audio.
Plaxico Burress, accidents happen. Let the guy, let him off the hook, for Christ's sake. He shot himself in the leg.
It's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, very embarrassing.
Wasn't there a running back, I want to say Brian Washington for Washington. Brian Robinson, rather, I'm sorry, for Washington.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Wasn't he shot during the season or preseason?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Someone looked that up.
There was another NFL player.
Well, why should NFL players be any different than us? Everyone's getting shot these days.
Right.
But, yeah, I think someone looked that up.
Yep. He was twice in the leg as part of a carjacking.
Yes.
Well, I was
that was
wondering,
before the season started, too.
Yeah.
Where was I going with this? People have been texting in saying 4 to 6 weeks is how that's what the time period they expect this guy to be on the shelf. It's pretty good. Pretty good considering what happened to him. Here's a listener texted in saying, didn't former Viking Ted Brown shoot himself?
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that. If our guy, C. Willie Miles, was here, he might be able to answer that. C. Willie's tight friends with Ted Brown.
Yeah, I don't know.
But, when my dad was a little kid, he got shot in the chest, and the bullet went through him, and he made it. His own brother shot him, supposedly accidentally. And I've mentioned that before, that I question that. I do.
So back to Brian Robinson. He was shot by a 14 and 16-year-old. They were that young.
Jesus. Josh, you ain't kidding. You're going to be giving up all of your belongings to an armed 12-year-old someday when you're taking one of those big dumb dogs of yours for a walk.
It's just not worth it.
And then they're going to pants you before they take off in your car, too, just to add insult to injury.
Oh, what is this now? Here we go. Oh, okay. Brian Robinson, the player you just brought up, Randy Shaver, who got shot. What did you just say, Josh, by a 14 and 16-year-old kid?
Yep.
After that, according to a listener, he got the nickname Bulletproof B-Rob. Brian Robinson is now Bulletproof B-Rob. I don't ever want to have the nickname Bulletproof because that means I've been shot. Right. Listeners are saying Teddy Brown shot himself in the ass. I got to look this up. I don't know. Ted Brown shot himself in the ass?
Is that a hunting accident?
Don't know. Ex-Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer still holds a grudge against the Vikings organization and the players who were playing for him when he got canned from his head coaching gig here 3 years ago. I love that. And I'd love that even if he and I weren't Eskimo brothers. I love hatred and hard feelings in sports. That doesn't seem to exist anymore, at least not at the level that it once did. Now, someone recently asked Zim about how it ended here in Minnesota. I can't believe people are still asking him about it, but they are. He said he had no desire to address the team after he was fired in January of 2022. He said, they asked me if I wanted to address the team, and I said, hell no, they got me fired. I got all my stuff, I got in my truck and left. Yeah. And he says, I haven't watched one Minnesota game since. God, I love that vibe. I love those hard feelings and angry vibes. Who's with me?
Yeah, it seems kind of petty.
Yeah, but it's beautiful.
And he's now the defensive coordinator for Dallas, correct?
Yeah.
And the Vikings don't play Dallas this year?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Too many times now in sports, even the NBA finals or big championship games, you see the guys, team, opponents laughing and hanging out with each other at even after the whistle blows, you see a couple guys, joking around. I like bitter rivalries. I like hatred. That's part of what drew me to sports, rivalries. You think the North Stars and Blackhawks were telling cute little jokes in between, whistles back in the 80s? Hell no, they hated each other's guts, and it was beautiful. And I see so many of you are on my side with that.
I'm with you.
I don't know what the problem is around here. We'll talk a little more football as we get closer to the season start, Randy Shaver. Pro football. NFL is what I mean.
Yeah.
A Florida State football fan, Florida State Seminole football fan, is being hunted by the 8th graders and the fully grown dorks on social media. They want this fan to face the music after a comment that the dude made online. So, the Florida State guy guaranteed that his football team would win their game. Guaranteed they would win their game against Boston College yesterday, which apparently they did not.
They did not.
Okay. They lost to Boston College. The dude posted this before the ball game. If Florida State loses to Boston College, I will eat dog out of a red Solo cup with a spoon and post a video of me doing it. Book it, he said.
Oh, man. Why would you go that far?
Eat dog out of a red Solo cup with a spoon. But then Florida State lost, and apparently the guy is upped and disappeared.
He deleted his account.
I mean, this might be an effing 10-year-old as far as anybody knows.
That's a stand-up guy.
I mean, but do we know for sure this isn't a 10-year-old kid?
Well, they posted pictures of him, and he looks like if that's the guy, he's an adult. If that's the correct person.
I mean, anyone could put a picture up
you
there.
You never know.
But if it is a real live grown man, he went ahead and deleted all of his social media accounts. But the social media dorks, they don't want to let this go. They're looking for this guy.
Sure.
They want to see dog poop eaten from a plastic cup. Right, Janelle? You want to see it?
Always.
Yeah.
One time when
It's not really what.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's not really what Toby Keith was thinking about when he did the song Red Solo Cup, but it works.
What happened one time, Janelle?
I was going to say one time when I was in here, Wapple ate dog food.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys remember that?
We were eating dog treats.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like little cookies or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the ones with peanut butter in it are actually delicious.
You enjoyed them. Because you're a good boy. You're a good boy, Waffle.
Good boy. Yeah, I could see a few of those dog treats, going down decent. It wasn't that bad, you say?
Yeah, it wasn't that bad, but those, what was it?
There are some that are just terrible.
The Beggin' strips.
Ooh.
They smell so good, but once you eat them, they are so bad.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be a kiosk at the Mall of America, Janelle, and they sold really fancy. It was like a bakery for dogs.
Yeah.
Really fancy stuff. And like when you walk by it, it looked like a bakery of some sort.
Delicious looking stuff.
Oh, yeah. And so I decided, you know what? I'm going to buy one for my stepdaughter and not tell her what it is.
No.
So I did, and she bit into it and knew right away something was up. But, she likes to go along with the prank, and she ate the whole thing just to spite me.
No.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she said it wasn't good at all.
That's a great bit, too, because Josh isn't kidding. This stuff looks like you're looking in the window of the best bakery in town.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're for friggin' dogs.
Super, super fancy.
I took a bite out of a pepperoni once, just because.
Oh, those aren't good either.
They look good.
It was rough.
Waffle, have you tried every dog
You've
food?
really sampled your time.
Yeah, I have.
My little dachshund Ozzy loved pepperonis. I think in the ads, don't they say dogs get a bony for a pepperoni or whatever? I can't remember this.
That's what it is.
They should use that.
They weren't kidding, because when I would crack open that bag of pepperonis, friggin' Ozzy could be dead asleep on a ladder or something, and he would be at my feet in 1 second as soon as I touched that bag. He loved them. So I said, what's the hype all about, Ozzy? And I took a little bite. Oh, Christ, it dropped me to a knee.
Yeah, those ones are bad.
You look like, little chewy combos. They should make some of those for people. Maybe they do. Maybe they make something like that. Those pepperonis do look good.
Well, Slim Jim would be the comparable, right?
Yeah. But they're not stuffed. Right? Aren't the pepperonis stuffed?
No.
The ones we have are stuffed.
It's like a Slim Jim.
Yeah, it's like a Slim Jim, the one I tried.
For dogs.
Yeah, we have got some stuffed ones.
You fancy.
By the way, so this guy who promised to eat dog turds out of a red Solo cup, no one can find him. Even Scott Van Pelt mentioned him on television, I guess. So whatever. I mean,
God, imagine if that was one of your buddies.
let the guy go. Let him go. He said some things that he can't take back, but we've all been there. Randy Shaver, here's something you can use on your dorky high school sports podcast that you got cooking now.
Okay.
And I want full credit for this if you haven't already heard about it. There are 7 sets of brothers on the Monticello High School football team.
That's amazing.
You got to do a story on that. 7 sets of brothers. That's got to be an all-time record.
That's amazing. Do they all play?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Got to be a couple of them that suck.
Your website, your former website, Channel 11, posted the story. They did a story on it.
There's 6 sets of brothers and one that's not so good.
Yeah. Yeah, cover that. Talk to that kid, the one who just kind of sits on the bench.
He's got time on his hands.
He's got just a helmet at his hip, just wondering. I wonder how many of my brothers got to get hurt before I get in. 7 sets of brothers. My God, Monticello's grown. 40 years ago, I bet they didn't have 7 sets of brothers interested in football, or that many kids living up there.
Yeah.
Right? 35, 40 years ago, Monticello, Christ, tell me there was nobody
They're
there.
basically part of the Metro, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're almost connected to the Metro.
And they don't want to be. But they're being drug in. Yeah, Rogers, Elk River, all that. They're becoming part of them. And they don't want to be part of it, but they are now.
Yeah, Big Lake's like, ugh.
Don't
really?
even talk. I don't want to talk about Maple Lake. Oh, you said Big Lake.
I said Big Lake.
Yeah, you did. Fair enough. There you go, Randy Shaver. Full credit to the Half-Assed Morning Show when you do that story about the 7 sets of brothers.
Of course.
Take her easy there, dude. We're going to wrap her up, but we'll talk to you. What is it? Already Wednesday tomorrow. We're already getting there.
I love
Brad Ryder will join us tomorrow. Okay, Randy?
Sounds great.
Thanks,
Thank
partner. You bet. We'll be back in a few minutes with more Jungle Jane here on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Did you know that Standard Heating opened its doors over 90 years ago? That's right. Tony Ferreira opened the doors in 1930. Now ran by his granddaughter, Claire Ferreira. Call Standard Heating and Air Conditioning today and experience the customer service and care that holds true today.
Are you looking to improve your work-life balance with excellent benefits like 401k match and even tuition reimbursement? Standard Heating and Air is looking for an accounting administrator and customer service representatives to join their team. Learn more at standardheating.com/careers today.
Former Navy SEAL Mike Ridlin keeps it real on the Mic Drop podcast. Navy SEAL Mark Green.
What do you think the most critical leadership quality is for a SEAL officer?
Consistency. Even if you're having a bad day, the guys have to know what they're going to expect from you. Once the people that you lead stop coming to you with their problems, then you failed as a leader. Till the last day, the guys were coming to me with their problems, which I thought was a victory.
Mic Drop. Raw, unfiltered, intellectually sound. Wherever you listen.
KARE 11's Janel Klein.
This is the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Absolutely. Our friend Jungle Jane, Janel Klein, has honored us again. She's popped by the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show radio studio this morning. Always good to see you, Janel.
Great to see you guys.
It is always damn good. And here we effing go. Who here knows what I'm talking about when I mention the sign guy?
I've seen the sign guy.
The wrestling sign guy?
Wrestling sign? Well, it's just a cardboard, how do you say it? Who's wrestling sign guy?
There's a guy, he wears a red baseball hat. And
no, that's not him.
Okay.
I know who you're talking about. He's ringside for every friggin', he usually wears a KISS t-shirt.
Yep.
Okay, not that sign guy.
Is this sign guy the one, obviously you said he had cardboard. He's kind of wearing circle glasses like John Lennon.
Word.
Yep, that's the guy.
Okay.
He's a hip-looking cat. He's got a full head of hair. He probably gets all kinds of ass, this guy. Yes. Janelle, do you know the sign guy?
I think I do, yeah.
He protests this and that by writing on a piece of cardboard with a black magic marker, and tell me if I'm missing anything, and then he just steps out onto the street in whatever city he lives in and lets folks get a look at what he's got on his mind, what he's got beef with this time around. What a clever gig, by the way. Why the hell didn't any of us think of this? Because I'm guessing we did?
We did. We had the sign guy that would go on the Washington Avenue Bridge that said, honk if I'm a douche. We had that guy. But he doesn't have 8 million followers on Insta like this particular gentleman.
And then there was that
He's
other
got
guy.
his own Wikipedia page.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There was that other guy, too, the Change My Mind guy.
Yep.
He'd be sitting at the table, and he had that sign, too.
All right, I think I'm familiar with that. But this particular sign guy, he's been doing this for years. He's probably gotten rich from this, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think they published like a book about him. He's been pretty big for a while now.
Yeah, I think this is the first time we've talked about him. But, yeah, you're right. He's been around for quite a while. You know, Josh and I have a decent excuse. The internet, social media, by the time that really kicked in, it was already too late for Josh and I to make that our career. We had already gotten involved in this nightmare. What's your excuse, you younger guys? How come you guys haven't taken the internet and made yourselves filthy rich?
The only thing I could see myself...
Is it because you just don't have any good ideas?
I just
kind of
feel
lazy.
Like, I feel like no one wants to see it, but I've always thought about starting like a video game streaming channel or something like that,
where folks watch you play video. But that's been done to death.
Exactly. No one wants to see me play. I suck.
Well, maybe that's your bit. The guy that sucks so bad. Yeah.
It's just a damn shame because you guys struck at a pretty good time. You hit a certain age right when all this stuff. I'm a little disappointed in the both of you. You should be living on a big house on the hill at this point, getting rich off the internet like everyone else your age seems to be doing these days.
I don't really like social media.
I don't know if you still are, Dana, but you were probably the most active person on social media that I personally knew.
I've always done Twitter. I've never got involved in any of the other stuff. I've never started a YouTube channel, TikTok, got involved in Instagram Reels or any of that type of stuff.
Yeah, well, why? You could be... That's what we're saying. You blew it.
I guess. I don't know.
But yeah, so, I mean, that's kind of my point, is that you're so involved in Twitter. Why haven't you branched out?
Well, it's because Twitter's just, I mean, it's you just type a couple sentences and send it out there. TikToks, you got to shoot, record, edit videos and stuff, and that's just never really had the time or wanting to do it or desire to do it.
You had the opportunity and you blew it. You guys should be filthy rich by now.
So wait, why, just out of curiosity, with how active you are on Twitter or X now, why none of the other stuff?
It just never really appealed to me.
Here's a sampling of some of the messages the sign guy has shown off, and let's see if we agree or disagree with what he has to say. What a gig. What a friggin' gig. And like I said, he's kept all of his hair.
Gorgeous hair.
Yeah, he does. He kind of looks like, you know who he looks like? That friggin' lead singer from that band.
Oh, yeah, that band. Yep.
Bush.
Oh, Gavin Rossdale.
Yeah, it depends on the picture.
Yeah.
All right, here are some of the signs. Sydney Sweeney. All right, I hear that brought up. Ashley brings her up now and again. She's some hot number that's all over the internet. I don't know what she does for a living. Here's one of the signs. Sydney Sweeney won't see your like, fellas. Oh, that's kind of funny. Why bother? You don't have to like what Sydney Sweeney's putting up on, because she's not going to look at your likes anyway. Who is someone who was the hot lady billion-dollar actress, Dana, that you contacted a time or two on social media?
Oh, I've tagged Anna Kendrick in a few tweets over the years, for sure.
What was the name again?
Anna Kendrick.
Anna Kendrick. Yeah, I know who that is. You tagged her?
Yeah, I mean, you just mention her name in the tweet, and that's...
Did she ever respond?
Oh, of course not. No, absolutely not. Why would she?
Your group can walk without taking up the whole sidewalk. Is another sign that the sign guy made up.
That's a good one.
You ever have that problem? I guess I don't walk along many sidewalks anymore, but
it's like they walk down like in a line as a gang, like they're taking over the streets just.
And next thing you know, you're in traffic.
Yeah,
you're shoved off into traffic. Yeah. Sleeping with socks on is a criminal activity.
Agreed.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know how the hell can you sleep with socks on? My feet are so troubled as it is that if I didn't give them the air that I currently do, they probably would fall right off the rest of my body.
Nick just has gangrene.
Anyone here sleep with socks on?
No.
Okay, good. I mean, when I was a little kid, I did. Because I was afraid my feet would get cold. But that was when I was a little kid.
I'm sure there are times in my 20s when I passed out with socks on.
Oh, that's totally different. I'll never call Twitter X.
I do feel weird saying it.
Yeah.
Said the sign guy. I've barely. Most folks I've heard still call it Twitter.
Yeah. Just because otherwise you say X, formerly Twitter, and it just sounds kind of dumb.
It does sound clunky.
Why was it changed to X?
The guy who bought it changed the name of it.
Yeah, but why?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't think he wanted to be associated with Twitter. I don't know.
Oh,
not too sure.
He's the guy who invented it. Leave people who haven't seen Game of Thrones alone.
Thank God, yes.
That's good.
Everybody, they so many people tell me, you got to watch Game of Thrones. The ending sucks, but you got to watch Game of Thrones. I'm like, well, if the ending sucks, I'm not going to go through with it all then. No good payoff at the end.
You never watched any of it?
No, I never seen an episode.
Well, up until then, all the other seasons are good. Is what people are saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, what I saw, I liked.
If I told you the new Fast and Furious ending sucked, you'd watch it, wouldn't you?
Well, that wouldn't be possible, but...
I think it'd be very possible.
I think it's happened a couple times.
I think even Fast and Furious fans have said it's happened.
Yeah.
I saw the ending of Game of Thrones, too. I don't really remember much about it, but I mean, it was enjoyable. It got too confusing. That's what threw me. Janelle, Game of Thrones?
Oh, God, no.
No?
No.
Too gory?
I mean, because I don't watch anything.
Oh, that's right. You don't watch anything. Oh, let's see here. What else did the sign guy come up with? Paper straws ain't it. Okay, I've heard
Agreed.
of that. Yeah. There's a new paper straw movement.
Oh, those are the worst.
It's like disintegrates in your mouth.
You can't even finish half your drink.
Some people are saying it's actually worse for the environment, in one way or another. Maybe better for turtles. And I like turtles, I got to say.
Yes, you do.
If I was at a restaurant and I would prefer if they only had paper straws, I'd rather have the server just throw the drink in my face and consume it that way than drink it through a paper straw.
I haven't had that experience yet. I haven't had anyone push a paper straw into my yap.
Oh,
okay.
they suck.
Here's
pardon the pun. I didn't mean
You don't like them?
No, I do not.
Here's sign guy again, and this refers to programming. We were just talking about Game of Thrones. I'm not watching if it takes a whole season to get good.
Oh, that is another thing you hear from people.
With Parks and Rec, it took me 14 episodes to get into it. I didn't.
Wow, you committed yourself to. Is that because you heard it takes a while?
So I watched it just a couple of years ago, and so many people said you have to. It is incredible. It's such a funny show, and it really is. But you could totally skip the first season and maybe start 2 episodes into the second season. Mm-hmm. That's where it got really good.
Even the creators admitted that it took a while for them to find their footing, kind of figure out their voice and what they were going for exactly.
Can you think of anything else that took a while, but it paid off after? I'm not much of a like Janelle. I'm not much of a program watcher.
Parks and Rec for me was the one that stands out the most.
I'll tell you one program that I did try, and it just never grabbed me, and I just quit. Was Steve Martin and Martin Short, Everyone Dies in the Building, whatever.
Murders in the Building?
I watched 5-6 episodes of it. I still don't really get it. I mean, there was a couple funny scenes because Steve Martin and Martin Short are brilliant. There was a couple funny scenes, but I just said, this is going nowhere, and I quit.
More anxiety than hair. Jesus said The Office is kind of like that. Yeah, it took me a few episodes to get into because at the time, at least, it was so different.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I like this one, this sign from the sign guy. Your meal doesn't need a photo shoot.
And I was going to bring that up, Wapo, when you said nobody wants to watch that. Well, people will go through and watch what people are eating, right? I mean, so you'd have an audience somewhere.
The thing so I'm actually, I do cook and I do like cooking. Sometimes I take photos of what I make, but I don't like when people take photos of, they go to a restaurant, they buy this $100 meal, and then they take a photo of it and say, oh, look at how good this is. You didn't do anything for that, but pay for it.
Sign guy stood out on the street one day with a cardboard sign and a magic marker. He wrote up, pick up your dog's crap. And again, I'll make mention of this. There was a time back when I was young where we all lived quite happily and contently surrounded by stray piles of dog turds. We did. We walked past them every day. Neighbors' dogs would come into our yards and crap, and nobody cared. And now it's the greatest offense known to man. Yeah, I'm truly fascinated by it. But it's a thing now. If your dog takes a dump in somebody's yard and you don't immediately clean it up, they'll call the friggin' cops. 30 years ago, nobody cared. Here's an obvious one. That stripper doesn't love you.
Well, it's not so obvious to everybody.
Sometimes it's not that damn obvious.
Sometimes some guys need that advice.
Oh, man. Zucchini noodles are not pasta.
Zoodles.
That's true.
Oh,
Don't they call them zoodles?
Oh,
yep.
no.
Yep.
I wish I didn't know that they call them zoodles. You ever tried that before? I had that served to me once, and I almost threw the plate out a window. Instead of spaghetti noodles, I don't think it was zucchini. It was something else. So what else could have...
Maybe squash?
Oh, yes, it was squash.
There we go.
I could not believe the abomination that was put in front of me and called food. Sign guy.
Kind of similar to Zoodles. I got convinced to go to a restaurant. I'd never heard of it before. I'm like, the place seems kind of fancy. And the person I was going with said, no, they got wings on the menu, Dana. You'll be fine. Okay, cool. So we go. The wings were buffalo cauliflower wings. That's not real wings.
So they're made out of cauliflower.
Yes.
Were they better than maybe you thought?
I didn't order them. I went with something else. I just couldn't bring myself to that level of eating cauliflower wings.
Who here drinks coffee.
Nope.
Sometimes I don't like it, but
out of necessity, not out of desire.
Janelle, with your schedule, they're calling you to do this, jump on this airplane, go to this place at 4 a.m. and get ready for you would think that caffeine would be a necessity for you.
It is. I do not drink coffee, but I have a really bad Diet Coke habit.
Oh.
Terrible.
How many can you go through in a weekend?
Well, I don't really.
Or when you're working.
When I'm working, I mean, you know what I do is I get like the big ones from a gas station or like a fast food place. I don't know.
Oh, the big old bedwetter?
Yeah, like 2 or 3 of those probably in a
Big
day.
soda fountain,
It's
fountain
so
soda.
Gross. It's so gross. But
Well, what's gross about it? It's a delicious diet.
Yeah, I know.
Well, they say it's bad for you.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
I don't listen to that.
You know what? I just had a physical on Friday, and the
Yeah?
dude's like, don't worry about it.
Really?
Yeah. So
Oh.
maybe he's completely wrong, but he is a doctor, and he did say don't worry about it.
Well, so you mentioned your soft drink intake?
Yeah, because they put, when you fill out your thing, at least where I went, they ask you, do you drink coffee? Do you drink soda? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I say, so how many do you have a day? I'm like, well, I kind of, depends on the time of year. So I try and slow down sometimes, but I'm like,
Yeah.
right now it's a little out of control.
Right.
And he's like, there's worse things you could be doing. He's
Well,
like,
that
don't worry
makes
about
me
it.
feel better.
Yeah.
But he also did say he was a pretty funny dude.
Yeah.
And it turns out he listens to the show.
Oh.
But he's a funny guy, and he's like, hey, I got to tell you, before we get into this, I'm not very good at any of this doctoring stuff.
This is a hobby for me.
Yeah, he's like, just so you know, because I told him we got to put a primary doctor. I was like, do you mind if I do this? He's like, yeah, as long as you don't have high expectations. I'm a lot better at other things than this.
I've lost quite a few patients. Sorry.
Oh man,
there's a lot of turnover when it comes to my patients.
Yeah, he was, and I had that Iron Maiden sweatshirt you bought for me.
Sure.
Nick. I had that on, and we talked Iron Maiden.
So this guy's like a stand-up comic.
Oh yeah, he was great.
He loosened you up with some jokes.
He was awesome.
Here's the coffee statement made by the sign guy, and you guys help me out with this. Well, Josh, I guess, is the only one who drinks. Coffee shouldn't cost as much as lunch. What is a typical cup of coffee? One of these fancy places. What are they?
So I've never actually bought any. I'll have it like my wife makes it or whatever, so that and I'll drink that garbage at home. But when she used to get kind of fancy stuff, like $7-8, and then you tip $1 or $2 on top of that. So yeah, it can get expensive.
All right. Yeah, you coffee drinkers.
Because it'd be ridiculous, all the stuff she'd put in there.
You're up against it.
KARE 11's Janel Klein.
This is the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah, Janel Klein's up in here. We've been talking about the sign guy. Oh, he's been around for years. He's this cute-looking cat. Got a cool hairdo, set of sunglasses. I don't know how often he does this, but he grabs himself a piece of cardboard and a black magic marker, writes some kind of statement on it, goes out in front of his apartment, and shows that sign off to the city he lives in, wherever that is. The internet's picked up on it. The guy's a billionaire now. He's a friggin' rock star. He's dating Kim Kardashian. What a gimmick. Talk about the sign guy. We've been rolling through some of the statements he's made on his signs and seeing where we go with it. A lot of it is food and television programming related. So the guy must love to eat and sit and watch all your cute little series on television. He's very passionate about that. Like, say, this sign here, make burgers wider, not taller.
That's a good point.
That's pretty good.
Uh-huh.
That's smart.
It's tough when you go to a restaurant and you get their super duper ultimate burger, and you can't even get your friggin' big giant hole wrapped around it.
What's etiquette? I never cut them in half. But
I always cut them in half.
always cut them
I have
in half.
I live with I have a family that cuts them in half, and I never do. Am I just a pig?
Oh, well, you are an aggressive eater.
Yeah, you are.
I don't
really go
see
for
you.
it.
I don't see you having the patience to cut your sandwich in half just because
Right.
you want to tear at it as soon as possible. You eat like it's your last meal.
Yeah,
well,
well,
I get
it's,
that maybe that's not the way to put
No,
it.
it's just because when you grow up in a house with a ton of people,
You had to fight for
you had to
it.
fight. You had to eat as fast as you could if you wanted leftovers, and so your brother and cousin don't steal the food right off your plate. But my mouth can reticulate, just like some sort of snake.
Right.
Yeah, I can dislocate
Your
my
jaw dislocates. All right, what else is a sign guy saying here? So he likes to talk about food. He likes to talk about television programming. This sign here says, I think, Josh, you can relate to this. I think you got in trouble with the wife once for this. if we start a show together, you don't get to watch episodes without me.
Oh, yeah. I Netflix cheated just once, but she was out of town for the weekend. I watched one episode. She wasn't excited about that. And I knew I was dancing in a dangerous part of town. I don't know why I phrased it that way, but I knew there could have been some trouble. And there was.
Netflix cheating is the term.
Yeah, a lot of times I will say to her, like, hey, I'll let you know what happens, on a show we're watching. She doesn't allow me to do that.
I've done it before, Josh, too, and I've gone as far as to not admit it and then fake like I'm seeing the episode again for the first time.
Oh, really?
Whoa, I didn't see this twist coming.
I don't like rewatching stuff like where I remember it. So, yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Here's an obvious sign, more 3-day weekends. Well, we talked about that last week. Empty liquor bottles are not home decor.
They sure were in college.
Yeah, it depends on your age, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you had to fill those shelves somehow. And sometimes just some empty hooch bottles will do the trick. The concert is over, says sign guy. Take off your wristband.
Pretty good, too.
Spring break is over. Take off your wristband.
I've never been that type of a dude. But I know some people who, Christ, I think this was kind of became fashionable a number of years ago to go to a concert and you hang around your neck the laminated tickets to all the prior concerts you've gone to. Right? You guys saw that too, right? Along 10 years, it became like a fashionable thing. It's like, okay, we get it. You've been to a lot of shows. What do you want, a cookie? Concert is over. Take your wristband off. Stop making me type with the TV remote.
That is frustrating.
Yeah, that sucks.
When you have to search for a show, that's a pain in the ass.
Or logging into Netflix or something from their TV with just the remote. Oh, God.
Yeah, unless you got a voice remote or it hooks up to your phone.
Yeah, the QR code.
You'd think they could come up with something as magical as these remotes are, and you're watching the internet, yet it's on your television. I can't even explain these. You think at one point or another you'd be able to find an easier route for that. Here's a listener who would like to make a sign and show it to his neighborhood. Listener says his sign would read, "Just because you've lived on the block the longest does not mean you own the block. Stop telling me when to mow, boomer." He's got a neighbor stopping over and telling him when to mow. Yeah, that would piss me off, too. I don't know why people can't mind their business anymore, Janel Klein.
I don't know either.
Maybe I'm doing it for the bees.
Maybe. I want to know where he comes up with all these ideas.
I don't know. He sits home and watches TV and counts his money.
I guess.
I think any one of us could. I mean, the idea to be the sign guy, brilliant. We can't touch that. That's all his. But sitting around with a magic marker and a piece of cardboard, I think we could come up with some things to show on our street corner. But have you guys seen the people who don't mow their lawn in order to save the bees?
No.
Mm-mm. Yeah. Really? I got one of those in my neighborhood. I thought it was a thing. I think for the first month or something, like in June, they don't mow because it's beneficial to the bees. And I think
that's like a thing, right? Like kind of like there's Movember. This would be like a don't mow May or whatever it is.
I think that you might be right. Maybe it's don't mow May. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, it's something like that.
But I don't give a rat's ass if you grow your grass to the sky.
Oh, the mosquitoes would be so bad.
Oh, who cares? You put on some.
One of the sign guy's signs is F mosquitoes.
F mosquitoes.
Yeah. Speaking of mosquitoes,
I don't know. What, you're going to go walk over to your neighbor's place and say, I think it's time you mow your lawn? No.
My ankles are getting itchy from these bites.
I do kind of wonder if there's a house in our neighborhood. This obviously retired woman. She's out there every single day. Older lady. Her lawn and landscaping is the best I've ever seen. It's immaculate. Like she could take pictures for magazines and stuff like that. But her neighbor is someone who never mows, has never pulled one weed. It's really bad. And I wonder how if that bothers her or not. I mean, she's always got a smile on her face. And I'm always tempted to say, you have the most lovely yard in the neighborhood. But then I thought maybe she'd think I was a weirdo. because it's incredible, the amount of care she has and how nice this is. But it's right next to essentially this haunted house.
I love it. That's great.
Which maybe makes hers look better. I don't know, but I wonder how she takes that.
God, help us look at this, Josh.
Oh, no.
Look at this.
Oh, geez. Yeah, your headphones just fell apart.
My headphones just completely disintegrated, fell right off of my skull.
I have a former neighbor of mine. He, great dude, laid-back guy for the most part, but he was very anal about his lawn. And his neighbor on the other side never did anything about weeds, right? So some weeds would creep over in his lawn and it infuriated him. Like, it was a big thing. He really got pissed about it.
Did he confront him?
No, he's not. It's funny. He's a big talker, but he didn't confront him.
A number of years ago, we were sitting at the bar, me and some buddies, and a couple of these buddies started to talk about the conditions of other people's lawns. Hey, have you seen Donnie lately? No, I haven't, but I drove by, and not strangers. These were people we were all familiar with. Have you seen Donnie? No, but I drove by his house the other day, and his lawn really looks terrible. And I said, is this where we're at now? We've officially become a bunch of boring old stiffs that are going to criticize each other's yards? I mean, that's a guy I don't ever want to be.
Yeah.
But dudes fall into that friggin', come on. There's got to be something else we can talk about other than how our friend's lawn isn't quite up to your personal. Please stop that.
Candy Jesus said, we've got a neighbor who would complain to her husband if they had a gopher in their yard that got too close to the property line.
Oh, come on.
Oh, my gosh.
It's crazy. Janelle, we got to get the hell out of here. Josh has got leftover spaghetti or something. I forgot what he said.
Yeah, or enchiladas. I got to decide when I get home.
Dang, embarrassment of riches over there.
That's right.
Thanks for popping by, Janelle.
Thanks, you guys.
We hope to see you very soon.
Absolutely.
Love having you in. Thank you.
Love being here.
Congratulations to I don't have OCD, but I should be tested, Jesus, and his now smoking hot fiance for getting engaged over the weekend. And then sits on baby Jesus, texting a happy birthday shout out to her smoking hot hubby, T-Pack Jesus.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating and Air is looking for an accounting administrator and customer service representatives to join their team. Learn more at standardheating.com/careers today.